Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey,
Yes.
Made this announcement today. A surprising announcement. Nearly 400 non-citizens voted in New Jersey elections.
Get the hell out of here.
As a result of what she calls a serious software error. For Democrats, I'm not saying that the Save America, the SAVE Act is going to pass.
Yeah.
But this is not good for Democrats' argument that there's no such thing as undocumented immigrants voting.
He's absolutely right.
This is not good for our country generally, I would say.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight. He's not the hero Gotham needs. Batman is here. Welcome back.
Probably would help if I unmuted myself. How we doing, folks?
Contributing to the duct tape right away. Usually that's my job.
Well, silence is golden, but duct tape is silver.
Exactly. I forgot about that saying. That's a good motto. And he has the beard to which I aspire. Turless is here as well. Welcome back.
Howdy, howdy.
Saddle up, partner.
It's actually Turless's birthday. Happy birthday to Turless.
It is.
Yeah. Do you?
I am accepting donations via PayPal.
Can I put you on the spot about which birthday it is, or you just want to say? We'll call it 25.
I don't know. I want to scare the girls away.
All right. Fair enough. In the news for discussion tonight, a very small Latino guy tries to set fire to a federal building in New York City. Well, footage from last year surfaces of him calling a Jewish guy who I think was accusing him of slashing his tires, or maybe he did slash the guy's tires. He called him an N-word, F-word while he was out wearing a Luigi hat to celebrate the famous CEO murderer. As crazy as he was on Monday trying to light this federal building on fire, he might have been crazier last year in this protest interaction. He's so short, wearing the Luigi hat, he looks like Luigi. He credibly looks like the Nintendo character. So
that Luigi.
Exactly. Well, remember when everyone was wearing the Luigi stuff to celebrate Mangione? They still do.
Yeah.
Although Luigi's the tall one, isn't he?
That's
of the two of the brothers. Yes.
But it's like the one-eyed man, king of the blind. He's just taller than the short guy.
New Jersey's governor, Mikey Sherrill, announces, whoopsie, we let 400 plus non-citizens, including, I presume, illegal aliens, vote in our elections in New Jersey, even though, these people already told them they were non-citizens. That's what's fascinating about this revelation. So the way it happened was these non-citizens and or illegal immigrants applying for driver's licenses put on their applications, no, I am not a citizen. And they still got registered to vote automatically by New Jersey's software system. But just a glitch. We don't need the SAVE Act. Don't worry about it. Plus,
it's fine. Everything's fine.
The surrogacy battle is once again upon us as conservative news personalities battle over the recent childbirth announcement from Guy Benson. And for as much opposition as many have to the sign-tapping topic of whether a child deserves a mother and a father, I notice the argument in favor of not just gay surrogacy, but the practice of surrogacy insofar as many of those arrangements deprive a child of his or her mother. The argument, as it was in this case, is just it's just attack. It's just personal attack. You suck. I hate you. Whatever. There's never a rational argument about why it's actually non-consequential to substitute out a parent in that way. And that's because when you think it through, it's fundamentally the same thing as the transgender stuff. Oh, it's no consequence if we just sub one person in for another, or men and women and mothers and fathers are interchangeable in this way. And if you disagree, that's because you're a hateful, judgmental bigot or whatever else. Now, it's not strange to see that sort of thing coming from people of left-wing persuasion, but when it's inter or intra, when it's within the conservative ideology. It's strange to see
love
that
the
sort
way
of
that
behavior.
ratchet locks.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. In the second half of the show, we'll take calls, emails, voicemails as well. If you'd like to call the show live, you can do that through the Discord server linked in the description. There are instructions and help available from producer Tim on the server. If you'd like to leave a voicemail or a text message, the number's in the description. Voicemail inbox is empty right now, so we do have room for voicemails if you'd like to get those in. You got about an hour or so if you want to do that. Although I didn't play Turless's voicemail from last week, so I know you were fired up about, what was it, the Iran stuff or something?
Yeah, I tried to shoot one out about that.
Well, I guess we can return to the Iran stuff. We have time. Although I do have a big block of email questions, so
I could
no
talk to
shortage of
myself
of
see if I
material
still
as
agree
always.
with me.
Well, before we get into it, gotta say hello to our featured listener-owned business for the evening. That's our friends at Hero Soap Company. And before we do, hey, don't forget my new retro video game is available for pre-order too. Hey, have you heard I now have a video game? Thanks to our friends at Soren Games, Matt Christiansen Media Mayhem is shipping soon. It is a retro-style Game Boy Color game that will play on any of your devices, your PC, your Mac, your phone, or tablet. Join me in my quest to perfectly cook French fries, 425, bring vehicular justice to cyclists while avoiding ethnic truck drivers, evade Soviet pursuit, and much more, all to achieve my ultimate destiny, confronting the masked journalist, defeating her, and earning the front page hit piece that is rightfully mine, and wearing the coveted golden flannel to mark the achievement. The game is full of bits and references, secrets, and even extra titles from our friends at Soren Games, games within the game. You even get an arcade version of their Leering Center game. Collect the cash and evade the oversight. It's all just $10. Learn more at mattchristiansenmedia.com/game. That's mattchristiansenmedia.com/game to pick up Matt Christiansen Media Mayhem, playable on all your devices. When you try Hero Soap Company, not only are you getting a great smelling, all-natural product, not only can you subscribe and get soap sent straight to your door each month, but you can get signature soaps designed by yours truly. Timberline is the classic, a frosty pine experience where the forest meets the peaks. Double menthol for that high-altitude cooling effect. Or try Old West, highly underrated, people say. The sweet smell of leather and oak barrels will bust open the saloon doors. Or try any of Hero Soap's other fine offerings. Scents rotate regularly, so you can always find something fresh. You can do like I do and subscribe to get a random bar each month. So you get a great smelling surprise in your mailbox and you never have to remember soap at the store again. You might not know Hero Soap offers shampoo and conditioner as well. So even more ways to upgrade your shower. Remember, when you buy Hero Soap, you're not just getting a high quality made in the USA product. You're not just supporting this show, but you're also helping America's finest, too. A portion of every sale benefits military and first responder charities. Listeners of this show get 10% off everything from Hero Soap Company using promo code MCLISTENER at checkout. Let freedom clean with Hero Soap Company. Promo code MCLISTENER for 10% off site-wide. HeroSoapCompany.com. Check out my retro video game at mattchristiansenmedia.com/game. Check out mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals for all the special offers from listener-owned businesses. Deals by listeners for listeners. All right. Are you guys familiar with the sport drink called Sport Drink?
No.
You never heard of this?
Not until this week.
Okay. Speaking of marketing and endorsements, I'm working on my sport drink affiliate relationship. We have it mostly ironed out. I'm dead serious about this. I want to promote this product.
Heck yeah.
Mostly because I love the way they promote their product.
I might need it. You know, it's funny because I'm actually already in your video game. I'm one of the cyclists, so that you have to run over. So.
Now, I don't know if Sport Drink is an actually good sport drink or not, but their marketing is far superior to anybody else's. Sport Drink gained some viral attention last year around this time when they responded to a critical review. There was a critical review from Elena Chow or Chu at Bon Appetit, which is a food and drink magazine. And Miss Chu, or Chow, sampled, I guess, some 20 electrolyte powders and drinks, Gatorade type stuff. And she concluded she does not recommend Sport Drink for a variety of reasons. She did not like it. And so the official Sport Drink account responded on X, "You stupid bitch."
What?
And they made Stupid Bitch Bon Appetit a 10% off coupon code.
Oh my gosh.
So now Sport Drink is back with a new marketing strategy. And I would like to think that they got the idea from this show. But of course, I could never make such a claim. Just like Diego, who came before him, and the former midshipman linebacker with the hilarious name.
Diego Fagot.
Sport Drink announced Monday they are officially endorsing Samford University pitcher Chris Fagot as their newest Sport Drink athlete. It is the latest promotional deal for Chris Fagot, who apparently already has an NIL deal with the NCAA, name, image, and likeness. So there's already a Chris Fagot merch shop that Chris is promoting. Now, I would love to pick up a jersey from Chris here. They're $110. I don't know if I can justify that, but I do like the jersey. It's like Joshy Boy's Kaniga jersey, a fine thing to wear. So, as some of the comments have suggested to Sport Drink and their new endorsement of this pitcher, Chris Fagot, this is great. We love the strategy. We love the idea. Now, please go get Noah.
Kaniga.
Go get
Luke Nigaman.
Go get Matt Gay, the Raiders kicker, and make an entire endorsement team, a whole roster of Gay Kaniga Fagots. And Sport Drink will be entirely unstoppable. Now, I mentioned I'm working on an affiliate deal with Sport Drink because I love their marketing so much. I have set up the affiliate code. It is linked in the description. So now I haven't tried it. So Sport Drink could be a scam. I'm not going to officially promote it until I've sampled Sport Drink. And maybe what's her face at Bon Appetit is right. Maybe the stupid bitch is right and it's terrible. But I have ordered some Sport Drink to sample the product to make sure it's legit. For now, if you would like to use promo code Christiansen with Sport Drink, you get 10% off, and tell them you appreciate their endorsement of Chris Fagot, because this is a fine young man and an outstanding athlete.
And tell them to work toward, assembling the landmine athlete name team. That would be priceless.
If anybody could do it, it would be Sport Drink. I heard that Sport Drink got banned somewhere, like one of these these commerce, like I bought some Sport Drink today. It was Shopify, so they're not banned on that, but I think they got banned on something for this stupid bitch Bon Appetit thing. But I appreciate the marketing. This is excellent work. You gonna try some Sport Drink, Batman?
I've never tried it, but now I'm very tempted. It is nice to see a company that still has balls.
They, I guess their whole bit is it's like Gatorade, but no artificial stuff. So no artificial dyes. And they use real sugar, which is some people like, some people don't. I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to drink like a real sugar powder all the time. It's probably not the best, but it's probably better than all the crap that's in like a Gatorade powder, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Although I think I'll still stick to just making my own because it's a whole lot cheaper.
You make your own Gatorade?
Yeah, it's not hard. You get some light salt, Morton light salt has sodium and potassium. And so you just add a little sugar or something and you got a Sport Drink.
Is that all electrolytes are, sodium and potassium? Is that it?
Maybe magnesium. Yeah.
It's like Brondo. You know, what's in Brondo in Idiocracy? Plants crave. It's what plants crave. I was going to
say something to kill plants, I think.
Well, I hope that Sport Drink and I have a very prosperous relationship into the future, because if I ran a Sport Drink company, this is exactly how I would do it. But into the real news, we had another deranged anti-ICE attack in New York City this week. And as the New York Post characterizes him, and a lot of headlines did, he's a crazed Army veteran. Though based on the video, I have concluded he is actually a member of Willy Wonka's army. Have you guys seen how short he is? This is a tiny man.
Oh, are we sure that's not Elliot Page?
Have you guys seen The Odyssey yet? I have not.
No.
I mean, if I can find a way to watch it without paying, I will.
Endorsing piracy, I see.
All right. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
If a movie theater has an open window, I can watch with binoculars. Yeah. All right.
Maybe somebody will, have a screening. I don't know.
On Monday, 43-year-old Andrew Arabica approached the Manhattan Federal Plaza, where ICE and other federal agencies have offices. There are also immigration courtrooms in this building. And he had two, I don't know what these guns are that he had. They're BB or pellet or airsoft guns. You can see them there. I can't tell exactly what they are, but they're not guns. They're, something lower grade. Not legally guns, but he was still shooting them. He also had a machete, 2 axes, a hammer, other weapons on him. He was wearing a helmet that had the message "kill yourself" on it. His public defender now says he had some kind of mental health episode and it was an apparent suicide attempt, as in suicide by cop. So he poured gasoline on one of these building entrances. He ignited it with a lighter. Then he shot his airsoft gun or BB gun or whatever he's got here while he was running away. And he was almost immediately stopped. He didn't even make it down the block, I don't think, before he was stopped by police and arrested. So there's a few different video angles. Here's an overhead video angle of what he did. And we got a woman narrating it, so bear with me. But, pour a whole gas can on the stairs, light it on fire.
Oh, my God.
And run away. And I don't know when he shoots the guns, but he does at some point.
He's not really running away, though, is he? He's sort of waddling.
It's he's not moving fast, and then I did cut it, but it was 20 seconds later they took him out.
Oh my God!
So he didn't make it
What's
very
the point
far.
of running away if it's so easy to catch you? You might as well just stand there.
Yeah, I don't know.
T-pose for dominance.
I think maybe he had his weapons back there. Maybe that's what he was going to do. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But almost no damage was done here. One person was cut on the back of the head from getting hit with some debris from that fire or explosion there. There was no structural damage to the building. The building resumed normal operations after a brief shelter-in-place order. Now, the attacker, Arabica, he actually, it's so bad he is being held in New York City without bail. That's how bad this is.
Yeah, amazing. Couldn't even stop business for a full day.
No.
And now even New York wants you in prison.
He's some kind of bum. Like, he's a homeless guy who, I don't know, he was living out of his car, they say. So somehow he at least had a car, but I don't know. Single arson charge for now. Additional charge is probable based on the rest of his behavior. And a lot of the news coverage has portrayed this guy as anti-government. He's an anti-government extremist. Was the choice. Maybe I don't know if prosecutors said this, but I saw this description in a lot of headlines. And without additional context, that can imply right wing, of course. And we know he's not. We know that he is coming from a left-wing perspective for a variety of reasons. The reason, cynically, they say anti-government extremist is that implies right-wing. It relieves any responsibility of anti-ICE protesters who, of course, are violent, have been violent for the last year plus. These people are rioters, of course. They're not protesters. And we know he was specifically anti-ICE in motive and left-wing in motive. Why? Because he showed up at the federal building there with a cart carrying his stuff, including all these weapons, and the cart had a sign, "ICE off our streets," which not only tells you he doesn't like ICE, but that is like an Antifa-associated message. So it's not just the message content itself, it's the affiliation of that message or the sort of groups that usually are saying that sort of message that tells us he's coming from a left-wing perspective.
Well, yeah, there are literally, there are approximately 0 people on the right saying that ICE off our streets or whatever.
Yeah.
And the Soviets were anti-government until they were the government. So that's a meaningless phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I was looking into this earlier. Remember Trigglypuff?
I have a Trigglypuff note for later. Yeah.
She is. She considers herself an anarchist, and she's as far left as it is possible to be.
They're probably one of those anarcho commies.
As far left as she can wobble herself.
Yeah.
Now, in a race of this Oompa Loompa versus Trigglypuff, who's going to win? That was not a fast time put up by the Oompa Loompa soldier there.
You know, Triggly may be as fast as Oompa Loompa guy, but she is going to have a heart attack if she tries to run. So
I was shocked
Also,
when you told me
it
she's still
depends.
alive.
Is it downhill?
Just so you can do the old Hook roll. What's that fat kid in Hook who takes out all the of what's his face, Rufio's men? Or no, Rufio is a lost boy, right? Rufio's a good guy. He's taken all the pirates with his role, right? God, it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, Rufio's the guy with the sword, though.
yeah, but he's a lost boy. He's not a member of Hook's people. Yeah.
No, not a pirate.
Okay. Well, media also originally characterized it as fireworks, as reported by NBC. There were just fireworks set off outside the building. Must be a late America 250 celebration. CBS did it too. They also said explosion outside New York Federal Building in Manhattan apparently caused by fireworks. Sources say. Now, in fairness, he did throw some kind of firework onto the fire, but it was clearly not just fireworks in its intent. Oh, someone was a little reckless with their Roman candle or their bottle rocket or whatever. No, it was an arson attack. And when they say sources say, who the hell was saying that? You had multiple witnesses watch this guy pour a gas can and light it on fire. It was never a fireworks incident.
It is bizarre when the professional news agencies get it that wrong. Like, what we're looking at lighter fluid or whatever. What are you looking at?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that the video of him prior is maybe even crazier than the video of what he did on Monday. Yesterday, Andy No posted a resurfaced video of this same attacker. So this is the Andrew Arabica guy. And he was seen at some sort of New York City protest last year, and he's in a confrontation with this Jewish guy on the street. And it sounds like the Jewish guy is saying that the Oompa Loompa guy slashed his tires. And indeed, that became something of a criminal matter later, so I assume that happened. But the little guy in the Luigi hat on the left there, that is Arabica, the attacker at the federal building with the fireworks. He's wearing the Luigi hat, again, presumably to honor the CEO murderer, Luigi Mangione. And he also calls this Jewy guy, this Jewish guy, a
Jewy guy.
Did I say Jew?
He
is Jewy. I meant Jewish. But he called this Jewy guy a
Fuck you, nigger! Get the fuck away, I'm an American. You're a fucking nigger! Get out. Get the fuck away! Fuck you! What the fuck are you gonna do? You holding a knife? No, I'm not, actually. Guys. Your tires are fucked. Go away. Let's not do this right now. I want to press charges on you. Go away. Fucking suck my dick. You said to run them over, faggot.
Okay, so that's what it sounds like. It was the classic protesters versus car situation, and the protesters interpreted this Jewy guy as being an aggressor against them, so he slashed the tires, is what it sounds like, piecing it together.
You know, I have to think that, at this point, the Army needs to put the "you must be this tall to ride" line on their equipment.
I don't know. I assume there must be a minimum height for at least certain jobs in the Army, is there not? I have no idea. But I assume per all sorts of physical requirements, like can you be 4'6" and join the infantry?
I mean,
if you could do all the rest of the requirements?
I mean, guaranteed, the more advanced the equipment that you have to use, like, depending on what kind it is, but like, obviously fighter pilot has all kinds of physical requirements.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You do have certain requirements for certain machines.
So I guess actually being that tiny, if he was a tank, do we know what his MOS was?
No, they just say soldier and they say Army. That's the only information I've seen. But as far as what his actual job was, I've not seen that reported.
Well, because if he was a tanker, actually his diminutive stature would have been an asset.
Yeah,
maybe.
Lots of elbow room.
Or did we need what are those little creatures in Star Wars? Why am I spacing on that? The little guys
Ewoks.
The Ewoks on the Wookiee planet. Kashyyyk. Do we need Ewok decoys to distract the enemy? He might be able to do that. I don't know.
It seems letting out my
inner nerd here, Kashyyyk is the planet for Wookiees.
Yeah. Isn't that where the Ewoks live?
No, you're thinking Endor.
They're not on Kashyyyk?
No.
Thank you for the correction. I should know that.
I don't think that even shows up in the original trilogy. The planet.
I guess I just thought forested planet. They're both forested, but you're right. They're different spots. Anyway, okay. So when I say there was some sort of legal issue that resulted from that, there's additional video of the arrest that resulted from the confrontation with this Jewish guy. And in the second clip, we can see that. And this is according to Christopher Sweat, who says someone at his media company filmed that arrest last year. We can see it here. And so he tells police go and arrest him. And somehow this was resolved privately. They did inquire with the DA about what happened with this case. And apparently they got in touch with the Jewish guy too. Van Owner tells us that the matter was later resolved with Arabica. So some sort of private, some sort of settlement. And federal officials tell NBC News he had no known criminal history. But given behavior like this, is this actually his first run-in with the law? Not just that, but what he did on Monday at the federal building? Or is this a guy who's been given a lot of breaks by the New York City policing and judicial system?
Well, nobody caught him. They had to look so far down that
he just disappears into every tiny little nook and cranny in the city.
That's right.
Yeah.
He'd be wonderful in those Jewish tunnels.
Did they ever plug those up, or are they still crawling out of those? That was
I don't think New York City has the resources to fill those up.
That whole thing was crazy. And then there was the mattress in the wall, and that was a bizarre story, that whole thing. And then it just kind of went away. And those tunnels were really developed. Remember the official story was that it was just kids who wanted to connect two different sites on whatever this Jewish property was. It was like, I don't know if it was. That was
the, that's what
but
they
that was,
us.
If you watch the video, it was so, this was like a military bunker or something. It was crazy how much they had dug this out. Like, how did they do that? Did they just use shovels and pickaxes, or what the hell? I don't even understand how that's possible.
They used their kosher spoons.
Well, I don't know. Or maybe maybe you're right. Maybe this guy was like a dwarf who was a slave down in there digging for them, and he finally escaped, and that's why he hates the Jews so much.
No, he doesn't actually have
building this for 4 generations.
What were you saying, Turless? Sorry.
I was saying he doesn't actually have dwarfism, right? He's just a tiny guy.
I don't think he does. I think he's I think he's just a very doesn't really have like the dwarf dimensions. He's just a very short person. Yeah.
But he definitely shops in the child section of the clothing.
You get a better deal that way.
Yeah, you look at the tag on the back of his shirt. It says Gymboree on it.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit of illegals voting in New Jersey. Now, recall the ongoing talking point that illegal immigrants and non-citizens voting is effectively a never event. So we don't need the SAVE Act or ID to vote because there is effectively no illegal voting anyway. And the only effect of the SAVE Act or anything like it will be to disenfranchise moms or wives who change their names when they get married, or transgender people. It will just make legal voters more burdened. That's all. Okay. Well, yesterday, New Jersey's Democratic Governor Mikey Sherrill made a very long post on X describing how hundreds of non-citizens did actually vote in New Jersey recently. She says in 2023 and 2024, there was a software error at New Jersey's DMV, or in their DMV system, that improperly registered 6,600 non-citizens to vote. So under the law in New Jersey and federally, these non-citizens, they can get driver's licenses, at least in New Jersey, but they can't vote. So that's the legal problem, is the connection there. If you're a citizen in New Jersey and you go to the DMV, if I move to New Jersey tomorrow and I go to the DMV and I am a U.S. citizen, if I check the box or I sign up for that, they'll automatically register me to vote. The problem is these people not just aren't citizens, they told the DMV they're not citizens. So it wasn't confusion. They didn't lie and they got away with it. Or there was some confusion where they responded incorrectly to a question. They said they were not citizens on the paperwork, or I guess in this case, like the digital paperwork, effectively. They answered no on the keypad when they were asked if they're a citizen while applying for a driver's license. The governor says she has removed those people from the voter rolls. And I'm surprised that Democrats even went that far. Yeah. And they're replacing the software vendor responsible for the error. Now, preliminary analysis, according to Governor Sherrill, says that fewer than 400 of these people actually did vote. They were registered to all different parties. She says Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated or independent. And of course, it's all Trump's fault for weaponizing elections. We got to have a whole paragraph about how it's all Trump who's actually the bad person here. During a press conference yesterday, Cheryl added that, quote, there is no evidence at this time that any elections were swayed by these voters. So they didn't change any election results. And maybe they didn't. But isn't the point that they could? How many times have we seen elections decided, especially local elections? And I know these people were spread across the state. They weren't in one localized place. But there are all kinds of elections that are decided by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 votes. And if they could vote, then shouldn't we have secure systems in place to prevent that? Also, they did vote. It's not just if they could. They did, and there are elections in which they would be decisive. Don't we have an obligation to stop this? Also, these are only the ones we know about, of course. Very possible this is just the tip of the iceberg. And we're ignoring the question that matters a lot for all the truck crashes recently, but why are we licensing illegal immigrants to drive anyway? I know that's a state-by-state question, and New Jersey is one of the states that does this. But isn't that a problem itself, even independent of the voting? I have some commentary from Jake Tapper on this, but do you guys have any thoughts on on what's going on in New Jersey?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that she was willing to come out and admit this, because also she went out of her way to include the statement, oh, they were Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated. Really? Like, how many of them really think we're Republicans? How many?
I noticed she didn't provide numbers. I'm sure there's like Jose the Republican is in there somewhere. You're right. But
yeah.
How many?
Okay. That was obviously just a poor attempt at cover.
Yeah.
Just like dead people, we know which way those votes are going.
I'm shocked she even addressed it. Usually they just don't address these problems and then wait for them to fall out of the news cycle.
I suppose they figured the benefit of just coming out and saying it is better than the risk of having it revealed by someone later. Like, if this was uncovered, it looks much worse for them than if they're just open about it, I suppose.
Yeah, but isn't that, I mean, how much of that really changes when they are found to have done something? They will downplay it, and they'll act like you're crazy for noticing, and they'll be like, oh, that's not even a real story. I mean, get out of here with that.
It never happened, and if it did happen, it's a good thing.
Yeah. We haven't yet reached the good thing phase, but we're close. They're going to say that actually this was a very good thing to have happened. So,
giving representation to illegals is a good thing, because this diversity is our strength. And
hey, man, they pay their taxes. Shouldn't they have a say? Yeah.
No. Fuck off.
Well, it's more democracy, right? And more democracy, as we all know, is always good.
Of course.
Well, it's social democracy. And as someone pointed out, I don't remember exactly where I heard this, but you put the word social in front of anything and it ceases to be the thing that you claim it is.
It's supposed to make it good too. Social murder is it's like social democracy.
In that case, then it would no longer be murder, right?
Yeah, it'd just be as long as people voted for it. They do it with democratic too, like democratic socialism, democratic murder, democratic theft.
That makes it okay.
Two wolves and a sheep vote on what's for lunch.
Yeah. So if we agree on, and by we I mean the left, the right, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, the entirety of this country politically. If we all actually agree, like Mikey Sherrill says, non-citizens voting is bad. It's against the law. We shouldn't have that happen. Shouldn't we all agree on something like the SAVE Act to require ID to register and to vote? And I understand there's opposition potentially on who has the authority to do this, the state or the federal government. But shouldn't New Jersey be saying, hey, even if we oppose federal control, we are going to take a look at requiring ID to vote in New Jersey on account of this problem? No, they're not going to do that. Democrats in general aren't going to do that. Certainly not for the SAVE Act, because it is exactly what Trump wants. So they say it's not a problem, but then they're out demonstrating the problem, as Governor Sherrill did. But discussing this news on CNN, Jake Tapper mentioned how this finding is bad for Democrats. And his guest correctly noted, it's actually bad for the country too, though, you know?
But Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey, made this announcement today, a surprising announcement. Nearly 400 non-citizens voted in New Jersey elections as a result of what she calls a serious software error. Governor Sherrill posted this quote, as the Trump administration tries to weaponize elections for political gain, I am ensuring we protect our elections. She goes on to say the difference is simple. When we find a problem, we don't hide it, deny it, or invent conspiracies. We investigate it, we fix it, and we tell the public. I have to say, though, for Democrats, I'm not saying that the Save America, the Save Act is going to pass.
Yeah.
But this is not good for Democrats' argument that there's no such thing as undocumented immigrants voting.
This is not good for our country generally, I would say.
Even better.
And this is a terrible problem to have.
So I play that clip just for the interesting observation there that apparently the number one takeaway is, wow, bad for Democrats in their argument. Terrible for our country, though. Isn't that kind of more important than whether the Democrat argument holds or not?
Well, Jake Tapper doesn't give a shit about our country.
How dare you? What do you say?
Well, and I would say that applies to Democrats generally. They don't seem to think this whole America thing is really all it's chucked up to be.
They care about it only insofar as they want to control it and change it.
Yeah.
I don't understand the argument from their perspective against illegal immigrant voting, or as they would call it, undocumented immigrant voting. And of course, that's not something I would support. I'm not arguing in favor of supporting it, but if you would adopt their premises that these people are net contributors and we are supposed to be we're supposed to follow the motto on the Statue of Liberty and welcome all the world's poor and hungry and tired and all this. Well, if these people are net contributors and we have an obligation to welcome everybody into this country, regardless of whether they follow the rules or not, if you accept all those premises, why shouldn't they have a vote? What exactly is their opposition on principle to illegal aliens having a vote? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think what you're sensing is that is exactly where we'll end up. This is like Obama opposing gay marriage at first, right? You can tell, that one's not going to hold.
Yeah, these people don't have any principles. They do whatever makes them whatever they think will make them popular.
Yeah,
while trying to pursue their evil agenda.
This isn't popular for now, but they do have a decent track record of shifting unpopular things into popularity. People often cite that they've been stonewalled on transgender kids stuff. Yes, I mean, they haven't had a lot of policy wins on that front, except for in their enclaves. San Francisco's and New York's and all this stuff. That said, they've moved public opinion from like, what the hell are you talking about to, well, maybe. And isn't that, when it's something that crazy, isn't that kind of a win? And when we're talking about illegal immigrants voting, aren't they likewise headed in that trajectory where it goes from what the hell are you talking about to, well, now that I think about it, if we accept A, B, and C about illegal immigrants, shouldn't they vote? I don't think, like, how long until that's in the Democrat Party platform? It's not going to be 28, but like 32, 36.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is not a wild leap from open borders, come one, come all, why would you be inviting all of these people to border jump if you didn't want them to participate in society, right? That just wouldn't be right.
Yeah, we want them to come here. We want them to work. We want them to contribute. We don't want them to have a say in the political shaping of this country. It's incoherent. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that would be
unkind. We want to make our country just a little bit more like Haiti.
Well, unfortunately, they do, and they're making progress in that direction as they see it.
Yeah, because if everybody has a 60 IQ, then they're easy to control.
I guess so. We want to be king of the garbage dump. They are headed that way quickly.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the illegals voting in New Jersey before we talk a little more surrogacy? No. All right. Well, let's. Oh, did you have something?
No, sorry.
No, fake out? All right, okay. We have yet another episode in the sign tapping odyssey.
Don't make me tap the sign.
The sign to be tapped, of course, is that every child has one mother and one father. Now, this is not actually about Trump. The headline makes it, Guy Benson welcomes baby girl, and it's a picture of Trump, but Trump actually has nothing to do with this. This is who we're actually talking about here. So the sign to be tapped, of course, every child has one mother and one father. Every child is owed that mother and that father. And that's why marriage is important as an institution. And that's the principle that should guide every reproductive decision that we make. And that principle often comes into conflict with the practice of surrogacy, renting a woman's womb for the purpose of having a baby. But especially in the gay parent context, because the practice necessarily means depriving a baby of his mother intentionally. So over at Fox News, Guy Benson, who's a Fox News personality, had a baby girl through this practice. He and his husband hired a woman to carry a child through surrogacy. That child was just born, a little baby girl. And it's the second time they've done this. And many have offered congratulations. Many have offered criticism on the points just discussed. One such critic was Daily Wire's culture reporter, Megan Basham, who was complimentary of Guy personally, but critical of this practice. She wrote, Benson is an incisive pundit, but there's nothing conservative about deliberately creating motherless children. I pray Benson and those like him on the right would consider what they are telling the world about how unnecessary they believe mothers, or if we're talking about two women, fathers are to the needs of children. Because that is what they're declaring when they create these children through the surrogacy process, that mothers and fathers serve no specific purpose, which is, of course, correct. By intentionally removing the baby's mother from the process, as happened in this case, you are saying either that the mother is irrelevant to that child's well-being, or that the baby's right to that mother is secondary to your gay lifestyle. It's one of those things you do have to pick.
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the child is relevant, but the gay lifestyle is more important. Okay.
Yeah. They do want to maintain some kind of bona fides when it comes to defending women, defending the rights of women, defending women's identity, and all that kind of stuff. It's become incoherent though because of all the tranny stuff. But they will still say principles. Yeah, they will still say that if it's down to the right and the left and who is more pro woman, they will insist it's them. It's clearly not, but they will insist that. And yet, when it comes to this kind of issue, you clearly see who is higher up in the oppression hierarchy, and it's gays.
The gays always win.
Yeah.
Well, in response to this tweet,
how appropriate that his name is Guy.
Why? One letter away, or what are you saying?
Gay guy?
No, because it's his name and it's what he likes.
All right. In response to this tweet, which didn't take Guy who it didn't tag Guy who likes guys directly. It didn't tag her directly either. Fox News host Kennedy responded to what Megan Basham said, and she wrote, "Bless your heart, Megan. While you're at it, go replace the batteries in your vibrator."
Fucking own, bitch!
I don't even get the joke. Is the idea that the only reason Megan or anybody would be concerned with the rights of a baby is because her sex toy is down?
It's a very strained attempt at a Freudian burn that there's some unresolved sexual tension in your life, therefore you're lashing out at this guy. This is the movie. The meme, I should say, Inglourious Bastards, with the meme with the German guy and the spy who does the three.
I started that movie, but I don't think I ever finished it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh my gosh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't just
Quentin
explain
Tarantino's only good film.
Isn't that the one with the Jew
gosh.
bear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
All
the
right.
bear Jew. You got it.
The bear
get
Jew.
the order
right. Okay.
Bear Jew.
Can we get the bear Jew against the little Luigi guy in New York?
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes down.
All right. Well, I don't know if I want to explain this scene because it's kind of a legend and you kind of have to see it for yourself.
What? Okay. Well, what's the relevance to this particular insult?
The gist of it is the spy gave himself away. He held out these fingers when he said 3, and a intelligent German man, an officer in this movie, he said, "Hey, I could tell that you're a spy because if you actually were a native born German, you would have done this for 3 instead of the other way." Anyway, when somebody goes for a Freudian burn like that, it's kind of like people who insult male genitalia, that sort of thing, you're on the left. At the very least, you are spiritually.
She's supposed to be like their libertarian personality. I don't know Kennedy that well, and I'm not trying to attack her personally. I did see reports, because she's just wrong on the point. I don't need to attack her personally. She's wrong on the point. I did see people claiming that she actually officiated Guy Benson's wedding, so maybe she has a personal investment in this thing not being criticized, or the behavior here not being criticized. I don't know if that's correct, but people are saying that, so maybe it is. So whatever the joke is, I don't really get the joke. Not funny. Doesn't really matter, though, because jokes, even if they're hilarious and on point, they need to be in service to an argument. If the point is, hey, crazy Megan Basham lady, your argument's crazy and you're wrong. There's no argument made here. And so what exactly?
That's my point. This happens on the left all the time. Leftists would greatly prefer to believe that you are just losing all kinds of sleep because they said that you have some kind of unresolved sexual tension. They seem to think that will just bowl you over. You'll never recover. Oh my god.
It's like they want to make you feel crazy by just saying you're crazy. And if you ask, well, why am I crazy though? They have no explanation for that.
It's like they like to insult some people on the right. I've seen them say like Ben Shapiro, right? Can't please his wife, and then he's like, yeah, but I have like 5 kids, so it must not be that bad. So.
But if we deny that premise that Megan is saying, that if we're saying children have no right or need for their mom or their dad, if dad is subbed out, the question for Kennedy would be, well, on what basis do we even have the family structure then? If every baby was put up for adoption because not only are moms and dads interchangeable, but like any person is interchangeable in that way, as long as they are a parent, would there be any difference? The point is, if you deny the principle, the premise that Megan is explaining here, we're going to suffer very serious social consequences, not just society-wide. Each individual child is going to suffer very serious consequences because we are intentionally depriving that child of a mother or a father. We're making children's rights secondary to personal whims, which is highly questionable, of course. And there was lots of challenge to Kennedy on this post. The post was ratioed. Reading through the replies was a fun time. But there's no response from Kennedy that I saw. It's just an insult. And Megan Basham actually responded very kindly herself. She did not respond with insult. She said, Kennedy, I'm a huge fan. I believe that children need both a mother and a father, and what they offer. Sometimes tragedies make it impossible to fulfill those needs, and we make the best accommodation of what we can in those tragic cases. But it doesn't mean we make the tragic exceptions the rule. And of course, that's correct too. And fundamentally, it comes down to this question. If a child's mother or father are interchangeable with each other or with any other person, is that the case or is it not? If the answer is no, they're not interchangeable. They do have a special role, a special bond with that child, and the child is owed that bond. Well, then intentionally depriving a child of his mother or father in this way is wrong. If the answer is yes, that mom and dad are interchangeable, that mom and a stranger or dad and a stranger are interchangeable, that is counter to the design of human life. Every child, of course, has one mother and one father. The design of how human life is created, which is through one mother and one father. And it's contrary to the design of men and women in general, that both of these things have unique properties that, when combined, create that life. To act as though they're interchangeable, you can sub one in and sub one out. That's the fundamental problem with transgenderism itself. I don't see how you can make this argument, at least the implied one that Kennedy is making, the one implied from her insults, and not accept transgenderism full blown. No other combination can create life. One man, one woman. Mm-hmm. So that life should be created according to that structure. That structure should be preserved for that life. I have yet to hear anybody make anything close to a compelling counter argument. It's just pointing, mockery, laughing, but they never explain what's so obvious to them.
Well, that's what's so interesting about this, because like we sometimes find, there are some arguments where we can kind of go back and forth about, and we can quibble about certain things. But every once in a while, we stumble upon a debate that you notice is impossible for them to win. And this is one of those times because for them to argue that there is nothing wrong with this and that men and women are completely interchangeable, they have to erase women's identity entirely, in particular, because women are the ones who actually give birth. Women are the ones who can actually nurse a baby. And to suggest that there is nothing to any of that is absurd on its face. And that really tells you why they devolve to, sexually based roasts, that sort of thing. Because it is an argument that they actually just can't win.
You mentioned earlier that you believe that they wouldn't say that mom is irrelevant to the child for the reasons you described. She has, in addition to an emotional bond that's special, she has biological properties about her that are irreplaceable or not easily replaceable. So if they take that second point, no, mom has a special bond, but it's the gay butt sex that's more important. Sorry, we have to remove mom in service to the gay butt sex.
Yeah.
How does that make you a good guy to say child's needs secondary to my sexual whims? How is that the good guy position?
What's really annoying about this too is that the primary argument that I will hear when people try to sort of squeeze in some kind of a wedge, just like the edge case with abortion, they'll talk about rape or incest. So their wedge for this is they'll say, well, what about all those kids in foster care? Are you saying gays can't adopt the kids in foster care? And you're like, even if I were to allow those rare exceptions that it's like, hey, nobody will adopt this child who is eligible for adoption out of foster care, except for these gays. Even if I were to say, okay, fine, we'll allow it in those extreme cases. How does that justify gay surrogacy?
Yeah, they're not the same thing at all. It's exactly what Megan said, which is, okay, tragedies happen, and where they happen, we try to do our best to manage them and correct them to the degree possible. But that doesn't mean we intentionally create children deprived of their parents in that way. And that's the difference between those two situations.
And if we're allowed to use edge cases here, then I'm just going to say, all right, how long until that kid gets monkeypox?
Remember that? Yeah. Well, there must have been cases like, I know the dog got monkeypox and stuff. I guarantee there were adolescent monkeypox cases that have yet to be explained.
There were a few. And there were. And
or infant. I shouldn't even limit it to adolescents. Remember the infant killing gay adopter guys in Canada.
Yeah, we never got to find out what came of any investigation into all of that.
Well, I know you guys want to talk Trigglypuff. We got a better part of 10 minutes to do that. So let me introduce this Trigglypuff topic to you. It actually is a trip down memory lane. We have some 10-year anniversaries to remember. Because recall all the great meme characters of the 2016 protest season. There was AIDS Skrillex.
You're fucking a white male!
There was his friend, Carl the Cock. I forgot about this guy who's in the replies here. Do you remember this backflip guy who hit his face on the ground?
I don't think I saw that one, actually.
Watch him freak out, backflip, and he landed on his face.
Oh, jeez.
I forget. They're calling him Flippin' Phil. I remember the clip. I can't remember the context. By the way, AIDS Skrillex and Carl the Cuck were discussing politics with Owen Schroyer at the time, who was with InfoWars way back then. But it was St. Louis 2016 was the origin of that conversation. And then, of course, there was Trigglypuff. And Trigglypuff was the obese young woman chanting, "Keep your hate speech off this campus" at Steven Crowder, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Christina Hoff Sommers at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. If you remember that.
Panel makes me feel old somehow. It was so long ago. Crowder and Milo and Christina.
Yeah, this is really taking me back. Yeah.
This is the a brief clip of the moment.
That's a huge bitch.
The X account Possum Reviews was remembering Trigglypuff, or the Trigglypuff 10-year anniversary this week. Even though we are a little bit beyond the 10-year anniversary, it was April 2016. But the context of this conversation was another account. You see Feminist Frown down here saying, I think people have forgotten that, like, how crazy the so-called SJWs of the era were. Like, we still have them, but they're not as crazy as they used to be because people like Trigglypuff and Aid Skrillex and Carl the Cuck. It was like an every week occurrence, which I do remember because I made videos about pretty much all of them way back then.
It was great content generator.
Oh, it was. It was easy mode. It was, and the jokes wrote themselves, and it was the heyday of YouTube. It was a great time. But so as far as comparing then to now, it was in the context of this trans person at the University of Central Florida who freaked out because he was misgendered.
Stop misgendering me! Just say she!
Just say she. Why is it so hard? So
kindness.
Right.
Just be nice to people. And
so that started this debate of whether yesterday's social justice warriors were crazier than today's or not. And a guy called John Carter made an interesting claim. He said that Trigglypuff actually won over the following decade. You know, this girl who filmed the Trigglypuff incident can make all the funny faces she wants back in 2016. Over the following decade, the Trigglypuffs of this world won everything hands down with no opposition. So Trigglypuff won the last decade. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I mean, in what way? I did look into what's going on with her. She's in a PhD program. She's doing all this crazy woke stuff. Still,
she is still alive, though. You did confirm.
She is.
This is my
alive.
shocked face.
And she's a public figure enough.
Is she still giant, or is she on Ozempic? Do you know? No. She is. This is one of the things that she's been up to this whole time. Is she's a fat liberation activist. Oh,
in fact, she goes so far as to say that the concept of weight loss is anti-black somehow. So she has all kinds of interesting ways of connecting points in intersectionality.
Okay. Is she making videos or something? How do you know this?
This is just part of her PhD work, I guess.
Okay.
Her name is
10 years later and she's still in academia. That says a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. It's like, what else is she qualified for? Because her whole
rolling down a hill.
Right, defeating Hook, as we discussed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Being a projectile.
Yeah, her name is Autumn Miller, if anybody cares. And I say again, she's kind of public enough for me to mention her name because she produces zines and graphics and different things.
I wonder if she would come on the show. I'm gonna have Matt P reach out. I want to talk to her.
Oh no, she does. She's actually kind of shy, as it turns out. She doesn't really do public appearances.
I would gladly host her. I'm not trying to roast her. I would just like to hear what it was like to become an internet meme and all that. I think it's fascinating to do Where Are They Now for these people.
Yeah. Yeah, but
did she win? Like, does she have a big winning? Not just her individually, but the Trigglypuffs of the world, as this tweet says. The Trigglypuffs of the world won the decade. They won everything with no opposition. I know that's an extreme statement, so maybe we can tone it down to say, did they win in general? Did they win the football game 21-14? How about?
No, see, I think they had some victories, but this is really an ongoing struggle. It is true to say that we did not... reports of Wokeness's death, of course, were greatly exaggerated. It is definitely still with us. She's still out there, as recently as 2025, offering presentations entitled "The Fat Liberation Syllabus for Revolutionary Leftists."
So nothing has changed. Consistency.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing she's always been doing. So we have not totally stamped this out. At the same time, it does seem a good deal more embarrassing than it was back then.
You mean the current freaks are more embarrassing than they were then?
The thing is, though. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna say what I mean is, like they had a lot of institutional protection back then. Like you could get banned for mocking them, but these days you can get away with a lot more.
Here's the thing, though. Like, obviously, determining if they won is kind of a vague and difficult to difficult to enumerate, I guess, in any meaningful way. But like, if you want to find a way of doing that, what is one of the greatest indicators of the direction, the political and cultural direction of the country? Well, it's the presidential election.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's the presidential election. So 6 of the last 10 years have been under Trump.
Arguably,
right? So,
they lost 3 times since this moment, but they definitely lost 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, did they win with no opposition? No, I don't think this is an accurate assessment of.
Well, yeah. See, they've had a lot of political losses because it is so embarrassing. But Eric Weinstein had a short presentation recently. You ought to look it up, where he talked about. He's like, so why does it seem like it, kind of like to your point? Why does it seem like even though the backlash to wokeness was noteworthy, it doesn't seem like we actually beat it. And what he went into was academia, basically, which is exactly where Trigglypuff remains, as we just pointed out. And he goes into some detail about how if we really wanted to do something about this, we are going to have to do something about the ivory tower. We're going to have to do something about higher education.
Defund.
Yeah,
defund, or
make it crumble like the eye of Sauron.
If you can't, though, there's the whole, and actually, somebody was recently talking to who was it? Andrew Klavan. I saw an interview between him and Redeem Zoomer. I don't know if you've seen him on Twitter, but he was talking about how he's got a whole project where he's trying to retake mainstream Protestant denominations, like he's in PC USA, right? Presbyterian Church USA, and those have been largely infiltrated by the far left.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're called the mainline denominations for a reason. They're pretty big, and his whole deal is that he wants us to take them back. And I think there's something to this also with academia, where it's like I'm on board. I would love for the all the public money to go away. Like, just a good place to start is no more federal loans, right? No more federal loans. But that notwithstanding, because I don't know if that's going to happen, at the very least, on an individual basis, we could be trying to get more, actually based conservative type professors. They exist. So we need more of them holding institutional power in universities.
I was thinking,
interestingly enough, I've found that there are a lot more professors out there that are actually a little bit more based than we think they are. It's just that
they don't hold institutional power, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, given the cultural given the cultural makeup of universities, they have to keep their mouths shut.
Yeah, I saw an accreditation hearing at my alma mater while I was still attending university. And there was, like I say, an accreditation hearing there, and you should have seen the way that some of the left-wing professors were like, they were bending over backwards and falling all over themselves, trying to convince these accreditation delegates, representatives, that they were doing everything they possibly could to make the queers feel more comfortable. Like, they didn't even ask these accreditation delegates. They
weren't using queer as an insult. They were using as a proper term. They were probably saying LGBT or something, right?
Okay. Alphabet soup.
Yeah.
But they were saying, it's like they didn't even bring it up. And these left-wing faculty members were like, by the way, we are doing a lot to make sure that the alphabet crew is happy. And they're just like, oh, okay, that's good.
I didn't think much of the college campus, which I certainly agree with the analysis that probably remains their key power center, and probably Hollywood too. But one thing I was thinking about was just the politics of it, and certainly what Batman said, that you lose 2, possibly 3 elections in the meantime. But it's not just the presidential election. There's a report from New York Times last year. Of 30 states that track voter registration by political party, Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one between 2020 and 2024, often by a lot. And here's the only counter I can think of, because again, if it wasn't that they lost the election 3 times and 2020 was actually the most popular election of a president ever, Joe Biden got the most votes ever. No one will ever break that record because everybody loved him so much. What was the singular win that enabled that? It was COVID. COVID solidified their win, their biggest win of the last decade in terms of getting all the special goodies that they want: government spending, electoral changes, the control of people, the political win that they wanted in terms of the president. It was the release of the Chinese bat virus. That's how they got so much of this done. And I agree. I don't necessarily agree with the main point that they won everything, but they did win COVID at least for X amount of years, even though it pissed people off and maybe there's a backlash to it. COVID is their biggest political asset in that time frame.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. And I mean, COVID was absolutely sort of like an IQ test and a personality test. You know, to see if you were subservient and to see if you were smart enough to figure out that they were lying and their story made no sense.
And insofar as they love to weaken the country, I mean, it's farther reaching just than they put policies in place that accomplish their agenda. Think of the impact that it had on America's children, right? I see this.
Yeah.
I see this every day. You know, as a tutor, I see all these students who can't read, can't do basic arithmetic, and I feel like I'm complaining about this every time I'm on. But that's another thing that coronavirus policies made that so much worse, right? And I see this again and again. That lost education. The kids learned nothing with these Zoom calls to class, just nothing, and you can't just get those years back, right? So now we've got a pretty big chunk of our nation's children who are not going to be competitive on the world stage when they come of age. And
just the way China wants it.
That's my point. That's my point. That is exactly what our enemies want.
Well, not only our enemies want that, but actually the people up top want it too, because a stupid population is easy to control. And so
like I said, our enemies.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
All right. We got to get to calls. I forgot to tell you to hop in the Discord server before the show, but
right.
Hop in there beforehand. Hey,
yeah. Oops.
Have you considered joining the MC Club? Well, you should. Here's why. Hey, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show by becoming a member of the MC Club. For as little as $1 a month, you will enjoy a series of exclusive perks, including ad-free videos and podcasts, video calls, and a community Discord server with me and other listeners, loot box giveaways with channel merchandise, your name in the credit roll after videos and streams, and much more. But most importantly, you will help keep the duct tape production alive and independent from all those sinister forces of control. Join the MC Club at mattchristiansenmedia.com/support. Linked in the description. Okay, just one caller hanging out for now. So if anybody who does want to hop in the live room, we will have some room for other callers if you want to join the Discord server. But for now, it's just Vong. Vong, how are you?
Hey, Matt. Hey, everyone else. Doing well. How are you guys?
It's been a while since you called out the chat. Do you want to call out the chat?
I wish I could, but I don't think I have my chat hard tears with me, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, what else you got for us?
I do apologize. All right. This one's going to be, I mean, I'm not going full blunt force trauma here on all of society, but it's going to be a bit more so than normal. So I've been thinking a bit more recently than I have been in the past about what comes next, so to speak. What do we have to do once we win this current bout in the fight for the fight for Christendom, so to speak?
So much.
That's a big if, but I'll agree. Okay, we'll operate within that hypothetical.
I am going to hold to the belief that is an if. I mean, our Lord said that the gates of hell would not prevail, so we are commanded to hope, and I will obey the Lord's command. Now, with that said, it struck me suddenly at one point recently that the moment just after we win is a moment of singular danger for us. Because not only is there a very human desire to celebrate the victory, right, and consequently to get a little bit complacent, but there's also some things we're going to have to do in order to prevent that victory from turning against us, so to speak, prevent ourselves from snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, that are going to be very difficult for a lot of people. And one of those things is that we're going to have to very much, very strictly enforce a society-wide restoration of the standards of premarital modesty and chastity for all people. And the reason I say that is because, well, I think we've probably all heard the phrase that many a man has been led astray by an attractive woman, right?
Well, it is ultimately bad for men and women alike when women give away what is their greatest asset so easily, the capacity to become a mother and create a family in that way. When she cheapens that and does a disservice to her children by giving all that away for free, that's not good. It doesn't lead her to a happy life. And to your point, for a man to have his focus taken away from a woman who should be properly focused in that way toward the family to someone who's just trying to, I don't know, get something else out of him, somebody who's a gold digger or somebody who's trying to extract something else. You're right. It takes away from his potential too, as a head of household, as a father, as an earner, worker, whatever. So people like to treat these topics as like it's just something your old-fashioned grandma might say. No, the principles of sexual modesty and traditional sexual morality in terms of abstaining from sex before marriage and understanding the proper purpose and focus of sex, it is the stuff by definition that society is built on. When that is totally unhealthy, how do you have healthy families if that's totally unhealthy? How do you have a healthy society without healthy families? So I certainly agree with your point. I don't know how to turn it around right now other than win the argument, but they tell you to put the batteries in your vibrator if you make the argument. So I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I think about this all the time too when I look at like the things.
Oh,
that
you think about this all the
post...
time, do you? Interesting.
Oh, well, yeah.
Joking, my dude. Joking.
No, no, but when I think about the things that women post, like the pictures that they post for for dating sites, dating apps, it's
the
like
ones taken at angles where you can't see their double chins,
but you can see their double D's, bro.
What I was actually getting at though is that they really go for the sexy pics, and I'm like, man, if you were looking for a wife and you're looking at this woman, you're like, well, I'm attracted to her, but at the same time, I'm not sure if this is mother material, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a significant danger also in, I do apologize for the crudity of the phrase, but I think most of us have probably heard the phrase, grippy socks, grippy box. Well, let's just
disgusting.
say that. Yes, absolutely. That said, let's just
Grippy
say that
socks. I don't even get that one, but all right.
Grippy socks meaning the socks you wear in a psych ward. Grippy box meaning good in bed.
I guess, okay, I didn't understand the grippy thing. Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
So the concern here is that, well, yeah, there's a lot of guys who can be led astray pretty easily by a woman who will be rather interested in him, shall we say, and as Batman put it, good in bed, when that is leading him in the wrong direction, and allowing that kind of thing to be present and indeed prevalent in society leads a lot of people to make bad choices and leads to things cratering. Hence why I say gonna have to enforce some pretty strict standards of morality.
When you say enforce,
I can respond to your colloquialism with another, maybe grippy socks, grippy box, but don't stick your dick in crazy.
Bingo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to make people do it now.
No one's forcing you to put it in there. All right, Vong, I got to let you go, but do you have a final thought before I do?
No, I think I've used up all my thoughts for today.
All right.
I just want to say before you go though, I do like where your head's at. I like you thinking beyond the cell. Just because it does help inform what we're doing now, even if this is a little bit far flung, right? It's like, wow, could we actually bring back public shame for promiscuity? Well, it's a long road, but we do have to think what is the ideal society that we're working toward, because that helps calibrate us.
Absolutely.
The one where we brand whores again. I'm
Scarlet letters all around.
You know what? That's my final thought.
They had it
Bring
right.
back shame. Vote for me. Vlog for
There you
president. 41,080.
All right.
Right there
Sounds
with
good,
you, man.
man. Have a good night.
See you again.
Okay. Actually, a couple people hopped in the waiting room. Now, Joshy Boy, I see you. I thought Joshy Boy quit this show. So I'm gonna make well, he's not ready to go. So I was gonna pull in. We got Caleb who's waiting too, but I don't think he's ready. So all right. Joshy Boy, I thought you quit this show.
What are you doing here? Get out.
He's muted. So he's contributing to the duct tape at least. Oh wait, I have him muted. I'm contributing to the duct tape.
Well, this is good actually. I never got to co-host with Joshy, so this is as close as we can get.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I'm going to make mine extremely brief. It's just on the surrogacy thing. Matt, I don't know if you paid attention to the debate channel where we had this discussion before about the whole surrogacy.
I didn't catch the surrogacy one. What'd you guys say?
Basically, Turless can also attest to this, but there was 5 of us in the discussion, and 4 of us voted that surrogacy was both immoral and should be outlawed.
In all forms. So regardless of, okay. There's another surrogacy question later in the emails that I want to get to, but okay, when you say 4, like how many people were participating in this debate?
There was me, Turless. I try not to say everybody's using it because I kind of
yeah. But like how many just the number were participating?
About 5.
And was anybody yes surrogacy?
Yes,
we did have at least one. Yeah.
And was it all cases or just some?
To be as fair as possible, and Turless, you can help me out with this one. There is one line of argument that can be rather sympathetic about parents who can't have children but want their own DNA into their kid, right?
That's what I plan to talk about later, because I do think that is morally distinct from what we're talking about here, but I don't actually know that it is morally justified. So I want to flesh that out a little bit with this email. Actually, Robert discussed this last week too.
That was sort of his wedge for basically surrogacy should be allowed because some people have a hard time conceiving, but they still want children who are related to them. So that of course he kind of agreed that maybe the homos shouldn't be in on this, but the problem is that, which I pointed out when we discussed it, there's no way, there's effectively no way to ban the homos from doing it but allow other people. So
you might run afoul. They might determine that's a constitutional violation through the equal protection clause. If you said
exactly,
that it's not crazy to think that it would run into that sort of obstacle with today's courts.
So just ban it outright. We're clearly not ready for this. Humanity is not ready for this.
The implications are very serious.
But even if you took the gays out of the situation, I will still consider it immoral because you are stripping the mother of a child that she bore, right? You're also like. True. But the other argument was that you're basically renting a uterus, so you're selling a kid.
And I do think that one is hard to defeat, which I will save my commentary.
We tried to steel man it a little bit by saying, all right, what if it's though not just rent a womb? What if it's not a stranger? What if it's like, and we were kind of using the what if it's my wife's cousin or somebody like that, right? Somebody very much within the family.
Are there problems biologically? Like, let's say that. A couple, let's say that there's an infertile woman and her husband, they want to have a kid and they conceive a child through IVF or whatever. Let's say she has a sister who can carry it. If you put that embryo in the sister, it's not incest, but like it's a stone's throw away. Are there biological implications to doing something like that?
I mean, as long as they have compatible blood types, there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I mean, but even I'm more of a hardcore, even that I would say no. I'm just against it entirely. So even though I can be sympathetic to that cause, the answer is still no. And the one question that was never answered or can be defeated, why can't they just adopt? There are a ton of kids who need good parents.
Well, it's because in the same way the gays make the argument, well, we want or feel entitled to our own biological children. and that is an inclination I am hugely sympathetic with. The truth is not everyone has that ability biologically. And so the question is, do you have the right to assume the role of God to overcome that condition? And that's where things get really messy. But yeah,
which is not to say, and we get into all of this back and forth about, well, medical intervention allows people to do things that we consider to be helpful and productive, but for example, non-IVF fertility treatment, that sort of thing. There's nothing really wrong with that, as long as we're not destroying embryos and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would draw a distinction between...
That's the biggest byproduct of IVF is the destruction of embryos.
Yeah,
well, exactly. That's why IVF has, a lot of moral questions to it.
I do think there's a distinction between...
I don't think humanity's ready for this technology, so we just need to not use it.
I think there's a distinction between treating a life and creating a life too. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that kind of at a gut reaction level. I don't have that fully fleshed out in my head, but there's got to be a moral difference between...
Yeah.
When we say playing God, we're talking about creating life generally. We're not talking about treating life, healing things.
Creating and destroying, right? Because there's, like we just said, there's a lot of destruction of life in this process.
Mm-hmm.
And you wind up with tons of... Sorry.
No, ready.
And you wind up with tons of mistakes.
Like
people
Indian
are getting
kids,
the wrong children.
Yeah. And then the Indian parents don't want it, and the white parents have to keep the Indian kid. You guys see that one?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, whether we're ready for the technology or not, I'm still being against it. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right, Joshy, for quitting the show and then coming back,
you're fired.
Get the hell out of here.
All right. Oh, one more.
Nope, he's gone. There's no one more thing.
Oh, no.
Caleb, are you there? Caleb?
Howdy.
There we go. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh, I had a couple of things saved up. One, going back to the hell being a real place.
Oh, yeah.
Acts 24:15. There's a resurrection of the just and the unjust.
Okay.
So everybody gets a new physical body.
So the implication being that they must have come from a physical place? Is that the conclusion you're drawing?
Well, they go to a physical place after the resurrection.
They go to it.
So
I thought they were coming back from.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. So after the resurrection, everybody gets a new physical body, and the just go to one place and the unjust go to another.
After the white throne judgment.
Correct. But everybody gets a new body.
It should be pointed out, though, that there is a difference between the glorified body of the saved and everyone else. They're not quite the same.
Well, they are perfect for where they're going.
Caleb, do you think it as someone who like I'm a novice scriptural reader and I haven't thought critically about this question, to me, whether it's a real place or not, I don't know necessarily matters to me. I care about the state of being separated or severed from God. Do you think that the physical location is significant? Is that something we should concern ourselves with? Does it matter philosophically?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think it matters philosophically.
It has been pointed out.
God is the important part.
Yeah.
You are correct.
It has been pointed out that Jesus mentioned hell more than he mentioned heaven. Which shows you how serious it is. But yeah, the details maybe they haven't really been shared with us, and it's not really considered to be vital for us to know the finer, minute specifics.
All right, Caleb, final thought if you'd like it.
Cutting Trump a little slack on this Iran stuff. I'm not saying I'm overly pleased with everything, but he's always using the same terms. He's always overly dramatic. I killed them all. They're all gone.
Yep.
It's that way with everything.
I keep saying we should be used to it by now.
Yeah, I don't know why you're surprised that they
Because
still
there's
have
usually a nugget of
missiles in the
truth to
tank.
what he's saying, and on the Iran stuff, it seems like there's no truth. It's like
but there is.
Well,
delusional
no,
and repetitive.
No, there is, because look at the amount of missiles and drones they can fire now.
That's what I mean. Like,
It
they
is
still have
nothing.
plenty, but we were told their military
No.
capacity was defeated and destroyed.
They don't.
They don't. It's significantly
They don't.
reduced.
But it's
Big
not reduced enough to stop killing our guys. They're still doing that.
Yeah, I agree. This is not going perfectly. I would
still
never
have,
say that.
They still have some capacity. It's Victor Davis Hanson was talking about this a little bit. He's like, well, Iran is not a small country, so we're talking about I forget what states. He's like Texas, Tennessee, and Idaho put together. Some 3 states.
Probably more than that. Yeah, it's 90 million people.
It's
Texas plus California plus more.
Right. So it's a lot of territory and a lot of people. So it's not exactly a shock. And it should be pointed out that we could have devastated them more if we hadn't held back for all those months. That allowed them to rearm, re-equip, and that's part of the reason that we're seeing what's happening now go on. But
that's still Trump's fault, though. Like, he doesn't get off the hook for that reason.
That was a strategic error. I don't think he should have done that.
All right, Caleb. Thank you for the call.
Well,
we
thanks,
love
Caleb.
you. You're very special.
Yep.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, we're going to leave our callers there. Appreciate our callers this evening. And we are going to get into a bunch of email questions that I have, including some more on Surrogacy. Actually, I do have voicemails that came in. So before we get to voicemails, we got a text message as well. We do need to catch up with Super Chat. So let's grab some Super Chats. And I don't want to jinx anything. Knock on wood. I did get in touch with my Super Chat aggregator system developer guy, and we thought we fixed it again on Monday, but I said that I'm like Donald Trump talking about how we've destroyed Iran. Every week I say, we fixed the Super Chat system, and then it doesn't work. So I didn't want to look like a jackass again, so I didn't say anything about it. But I think I'm seeing everything come in right now. So I think the Super Chat system is fixed, and what I mean by fixed is that YouTube, Rumble, and Tippy Stream are all coming together for me to read in one place and feeding to the stream to be displayed on the stream. So shout out to developer guy Kyle, who has made a very cool system that I hope I can help him expand a little bit and bring to some other people, because it's very useful and nobody else has done this as far as I'm aware. Now it's finally working. So hopefully it holds. Tim Garcia on YouTube. Happy birthday, Turless, from Dad Timbo Son 1. Is that actually your dad?
Well, it sure sounds like it. Yeah, it is.
Is your dad Tim, or is that a fake name?
No, that's his real name.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Turless, and nice to meet you, Tim. Turless's dad. Thanks for supporting the show. Podhead Wino. Matt may or may not be gay, but what is certain is Fleckus Talks is the podcast being voted the best news podcast of all time. So true. I obviously was not in the running. If Fleckus won. No, Fleckus is a good dude, hilarious. It's been a long time since I've talked to him. Would love to have him on the show. Have not been able to make that happen, but people have stuff going on, and I can't necessarily make people come over all the time. But I admire him. He actually was on the old iteration of this show way back when, and in no way is this to discredit his podcast show, which is great. But his Man on the Street stuff was awesome. Like Man on the Street is a very difficult skill set, and he was very, very good at it, which is how I found him in the first place. So, good dude.
Also, that was just like a "I'm gonna let you finish" moment.
How? You mean I was trying not to.
But Fleckus is the best podcaster of all time.
Well, that's what this is. Yeah, like he's gonna let me finish. Pothead Wino's gonna let me finish. I thought you were saying I was saying that. Yeah.
No.
Joshy boy, Kashyyyk is a jungle planet, man. Endor is a forest moon. Jungle versus forest.
Nerd.
Man, all right. Home of the savage teddy bears. Right. I should have known that. We were talking about Star Wars in the server earlier today.
Yeah, I was participating in the nerd talk, so I'm a hypocrite. Yeah. But
Solid number 5. If the Save Act is so important, why can't they just leave it as voting laws? Why add a bunch of other BS like $95 billion towards the war in Iran? Because right now they're doing this strategizing in Congress to try to tack it on here and there to try to get Democrats or a critical mass to support it. It's all gamesmanship. Democrats are not going to vote for the Save Act under any circumstances. Republicans are trying to force them. Everybody knows that this should get a clean bill, but if it's a clean bill, number one, Democrats won't support it. Number two, they don't have the support in the Senate to clear the filibuster. So it ain't happening until either you get a new Congress or you change the filibuster rules. That's why they're doing the gaming, so they can go into the midterms and say, oh, so-and-so refused to support this. Oh, so-and-so refused to support that, because they tacked a bunch of unrelated bullshit together so they can get people to vote against the things that they want to set them up for, campaign-wise in the midterms. That's why.
Yeah, that sort of thing has its place, but pass the SAVE Act. Pass it.
Well, the fact that, like, any sane country should agree, again, even if you have problems with whether this is a federal issue or not, everybody should agree that demonstrating that you are, in fact, a citizen to vote is not controversial. You guys seen the Olive Garden thing going around the last week or two?
Oh, that sounds familiar. Refresh my memory.
So it turns out that at Olive Garden, you know what, they have like their endless pasta pass. It's like it's almost like a meal plan or something. You pay Olive Garden like $100 or $200 and you get as much pasta as you want. I've never done this, but it's like a club they offer. And someone asked on X, hey, Olive Garden, can I transfer my pasta pass to my sister?
The ID thing.
And they said, no, it's non-transferable and you must show ID when getting the pasta, which means pasta at Olive Garden is more secure than our elections, at least in many jurisdictions in this country, which is a hilarious observation.
Yeah.
See you in the camp.
Look, we take pasta very seriously in this country, unlike voting.
See you in the camp. I'd be curious what Trigglypuff's current student loan balance is. Has she paid it off by? She's not working actually. She's
as
a
long
PhD
as she
student.
remains a student,
yeah,
those loans don't have to be
right.
paid necessarily.
That's the strategy. So, but if she is a PhD student and has not been paying, she has probably racked up debt even larger than her body mass.
She won't have to worry about that,
Yeah, she'll die of diabetes long before she.
Or someone.
Yeah, exactly. She ain't gonna last that long. So the taxpayers will have to foot that bill.
Joe Biden will come back and forgive her, maybe. Yeah.
Along with likely her grocery bills, which I'm sure are substantial.
I'll have to just circle back with you.
We'll leave Super Chat there. Appreciate our Super Chatters. Glad to see the system is working. I mentioned I do have a couple voicemails, and I do, so I have no idea what those are about. But before I get into those, reminder that if you'd like to send a voicemail or email to the show, the way to do that is through the contact page on my website. Text messages, too. Contact page on my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. This one, I don't even get the transcript, so I don't know who the caller is. I don't know what the topic is. We're just going to freestyle it and see what this caller has to say.
All right.
Well, I have no sound off this either. So,
well, that is definitely one of the hazards.
All over the place. It's a disgrace.
That would explain why there's no transcript, because it's silent.
This caller might have been muted. Hey, if you're a caller from area code 717, you're welcome to call back. I think your phone was muted or something went haywire. But I actually have no transcript on this next one either, from area code 563. And that one is silent also. So that's a little concerning that I have two silent ones with no transcript.
They started the call and then they were like, "Oh shoot, I don't know what I was going to say."
Hey, you guys want a side task while I look at something? Will you call a number and leave a voicemail just so I can tech test this?
All right, let's
Or
see
do you
here.
have the number handy? I know you called last week, right? I can get it.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
It's 406-312-5731.
Do you have it?
Yeah, you can see it on your screen there too.
What was it? 406?
312-5731.
Yeah, I have it here.
Just leave like a 10-second voice message calling me gay or something. I'll read these text messages in the meantime. Spandex Lurch in the text inbox says, forgot to mention, definitely not a lesbian here. This is about the Subaru debate. Definitely not a lesbian here, though my WRX does now have a sticker that says never go full lesbian. Well, at least you're clarifying. That's good. And as a fellow member of the WRX community, don't be a faggot on the roadway. Okay, be respectful. If you want to drive your car like a jackass, go to a track. I'm sure you're very respectful, though, as a listener of this show.
I don't remember if I've said this on the show before, but one way to think about Subaru is Subaru as a company has existed for a long time, and they've gone under many names over the history of their company. One of those names was Nakajima once upon a time, and they made the N5B bomber that hit Pearl Harbor.
I forgot
so
about
they weren't
that
always
piece of
gay.
history. It's always Fuji Heavy Industries and all the stuff that's behind them has been an industrial manufacturer of all sorts of things for a while. But I remember you told me that before, and I'd forgotten about that piece of the history. But Pearl Harbor was pretty gay. That was pretty gay of them. You're saying it was not gay for Japan to attack us that way? I'm saying
once upon a time they made powerful weapons. Let's put it that way.
All right, fair enough. Then we have a text here.
They ought to do that again so they could actually protect the Strait of Hormuz themselves and not just rely on us for everything. But that's another topic.
Denise texted in and said, I've started plenty of campfires. I don't think it was only gas. You're right. It might've been something else in the gas can. The dark black smoke says it's something else. Sure. I assumed it's gas. You could be right, but it's also the media. What do you think the explosions are? So I guess I didn't see the explosive force. I know he did throw fireworks on it, and you might be right. Whatever the accelerant is, it might be something other than gasoline. But we know he was carrying a whole bunch of weapons and a bunch of. This guy apparently had big plans to fight in all sorts of ways, and then gave up almost immediately. But it wouldn't surprise me that this was more. If this was indeed more than a gas can and a lighter, and there's more to it than what I had said. You're probably right about that.
Yeah, but what is it? Does that imply like a chemical attack? Because I kind of doubt it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised by whatever he might have deployed. We got another text here, unnamed texter, but Matt, I'd like to say I'm deeply disappointed by Batman's joke about the gay named Guy. That was the perfect setup for "you are what you eat" joke. Okay, yeah, that's
bingo.
That's good.
I have it on good authority that Trigglypuff is paying off her student debts gainfully employed as a hydraulic press. Okay, yeah.
Bingo.
Okay. She could probably do some work that way. God bless. Have a good night. God bless you. Okay. So this is crazy because just to demonstrate to everybody, it's funny because it says Turtle says read a freaking book, but it's Turless. I'm going to play this.
Turless says read a freaking book.
Okay. So that voicemail came through fine. Yeah. I think I don't think there's a tech problem. I think coincidentally, I have 2 silent voicemails. So if you're the caller from area code 717 or the caller from area code 563, I don't have audio, but you're welcome to try again. We might have had a coincidental tech issue, which is crazy, but thank you for the test because that tells me that it's not something with the voicemail system itself. All right. We will leave voicemails there for now. I will come back to them, but I got to get into email questions. Actually, I do have one more text that was from earlier in the day. Hey, Matt, it's Utah again. Guy named Utah, probably lives in Utah. Just wanted to share. My sister found out found out a mole was turning to basal cell carcinoma. Slow growing, caught early, but she still needs surgery to make sure it hasn't spread. Skin cancer runs in my family. My siblings and I get checked yearly since my dad has had a scare years back. And his dad also had it. As we get older, please see a dermatologist, wear sunscreen, and don't tan. One more thing, my sister's only 37. Well, thank you for the text, and God bless your sister and your family, and hoping the best for her. As I approach 40 rapidly, still have a year and change before I get there, but I am that I must accept doctors poking and prodding me in any number of ways is very difficult, but I know I must on behalf of my family. Not looking forward to that, but I don't even know if I've ever been to a dermatologist. I certainly should go, probably. You guys have any dermatological thoughts?
I got lost in thought a little bit there, thinking about, just different, all the different little exams and checkups and things, because I'm not as young as I used to be. So I don't know. I guess I should think more about that, because I'm the sort to probably let things go until they become a really bad problem.
Same.
Yeah, I'm definitely that type too.
The hell with doctors, dude. I'd rather die a natural death. As Batman likes to say, give me something for the cringe and let me die. That's how I prefer to go. All right. Nomad, thank you to the guy in Utah. Nomad, good video this morning. Suspect the larger numbers of non-working men also correlate with a demographic shift. I think we should be considering immigration from those seeking to abuse our society or our social safety net system. Sarcasm detected there. But Yeah, thank you for the email and for tuning in. If you didn't see this morning's video, it was about men leaving the American workforce, which they are in record numbers, and the implications for what that means for the role of men as breadwinners for their families. And demographics are a factor in this, even beyond immigration and race. Age is a factor in this. There are a lot of boomers retiring now and not as many young people replacing them. So we have men moving out of the workforce strictly for retirement reasons, more retirees than young people working. I hadn't thought about the racial demographic or the immigration component when putting together that video. It's possible that's a piece. Whether it's immigrants coming here or just people in general, I do think that it's too easy to live a life without working when one can. Too many social safety nets, too many benefits programs, welfare programs. And of course, I'm not saying that people should starve on the street or something, but living off the taxpayer should be very hard. We need to get back to rice and beans down at the charity kitchen if you want to survive that way. But it's uncomfortable. Like, nobody should starve, but you should be uncomfortable. You should be motivated to build something for yourself. And right now, it's easy not to do that, or easier than it should be.
I was talking with my dad about, because I talk politics with him a lot. And so clearly he watches the show too, as you just heard. And I was mentioning this about that incident you probably saw, or did you talk about it on Sunday? How Mom Donnie was, hanging with the prisoners and watching soccer.
I didn't hear that at all, so that's new to me.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
So Zoran Mamdani was at Rikers, hanging out with some real lowlives,
bad
because
hombres.
Some bad hombres, because you have to do a lot. You have to do some bad stuff to get thrown in Rikers in New York, right? They're pretty soft on crime over there. So he's hanging out with these lowlives in Rikers because that's just the sort of constituency he wants. And they're just in there like watching soccer games and stuff. And I remarked, speaking of discomfort, geez, it's not as bad as it should be, is it? You can just put your feet up, watch a soccer game, whatever. Have all your meals taken care of.
I remember when
Free room
prisoners used to have to break rocks under a hot sun.
Yeah, we need to bring that back, I think.
When prison was actually a punishment and not a however many year-long vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's similar with the with the welfare state that we have right now. It's like we are certainly providing a lot of avenues for people to not do a whole lot, not be very productive.
Thank you, Nomad. Chris to the J has some more commentary on surrogacy. He says to comment on the surrogate case from last week. So again, we were talking about in Canada, 2 gays used a surrogate to carry a baby, and they wanted the surrogate mother to abort the baby over some minor genetic issues that turned out to be nonsense. The mom refused, and they're suing the mom for all sorts of things after the fact. That was last week's surrogacy case. But related to this week's case about gay surrogacy as well, I think we miss a key aspect. This is inherently a moral and spiritual issue. For the kid, of course, they have no say and are introduced in the messiest of circumstances. But there is a prideful and selfishness inherent to the 4 adults involved. The gay men reject God's created design, and they are not afforded the blessing, of children as such. The 2 women are only able to sue because of modern tech. Again, this is the surrogate mom and the biological mom that we're talking about last week. They're only able to sue because of modern tech, something that although allowed within the overall design, is also outside of God's desired practices. As far as those who cannot conceive, a straight couple, they are also selfish in terms of wanting the blood connection. That desire in itself is not wrong, but playing God to have such kids, they miss the opportunity to be good parents to orphans. It doesn't help that potential parents are turned away for ridiculous reasons. Personally, I know a couple who were prevented from adopting because the mom's answer to what she may or may not cook was not satisfactory to the state auditor to be allowed to adopt. Okay. Cut off some of the question here because it's kind of a long one, but yeah, that's what he's talking about at the end. Now, I want to get back into this question about how surrogacy fits in the latter part that he's talking about there. The gay surrogacy stuff we've talked about. Last week we got into this a little bit. What about, say, the straight couple that's infertile or has other reasons to seek surrogacy, and what the moral lines are in that case? Because, of course, that's not, let's say, again, mom and dad with fertility problems need a surrogate, but they're going to take their own, they're going to create their own child through IVF or whichever means will work. It is biologically their child. They implant that embryo into a surrogate who carries it for them. Surrogate gives birth to the baby, gives it back to mom and dad. Now, the issue with the gay surrogacy thing where the child has been deprived of a mother is not present here because biological mom is taking that baby in. And we could maybe say something about the role of the mom who carried that child, and there probably is something to say about that. But it's biological parents still connected to biological child, both mother and father. So it's distinct from the gay thing in that way. But is it morally fine? Is it morally permissible? And as Robert was explaining last week and Joshy Boy got into, it does involve something else, which is still the rental of another person's body. And there's a question of whether that rental is paid or not. In Canada, for example, lawsuit last week, you can't pay for that service. You can't get paid for that service. It has to be voluntary or done on a voluntary basis, no compensation. Is it moral to offer your body for use to someone else for that purpose, even if you're not paid to do it? It's a different moral question from the gay one. But as we discussed earlier, if I had to make a broad policy decision, I would rather err on the side of children's rights. And unfortunately, that does have some implications for parents who maybe would like children of their own, but can't. I'm still going to protect children's rights if I have to err over the so-called rights of adults to have kids pursuant to their whims that are fundamentally unnatural in their design and function. You guys have thoughts on that?
I can't help but think that if you're biologically incapable of having children, you should probably take that as a sign. Do something else. I know it sucks. It's tragedy.
It's very hard. I mean, it is legitimately much easier said than done. I can't imagine being in that situation because I know the joy and purpose that my children bring to my life.
Right. But I mean, there are ways to find that joy and purpose. I mean, like, there's plenty of kids that need to be adopted. And I understand the desire and, well, the basically the biological imperative to pass on your own genes. But if your own genes are stopping you from passing them on, then, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could. I'm a little bit undecided on the final analysis here. There's definitely something to be said for the fact, okay, if because I was trying to go down a little bit of a thought experiment because of dropping fertility rates. I'm like, so what if there's a future in which more and more women have fertility problems, and suddenly this almost begins to feel like a necessity that that fertile women are given, opportunity to have as many children as possible, even if they're not going to raise them all, because they're the only ones who can do it. I'm just trying to think of situations in which that aren't too far-fetched anyway, in which this begins to become kind of the least bad of a bunch of bad options.
And how do you do that without allowing opportunity for all the actually very bad options?
Yeah, and that's why, kind of to Batman's point earlier, as things stand right now, I would just ban it outright because there's way more harm than good being done here overall.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I could completely close the door on and say, well, this is just wrong, like Joshy Boy was saying, in 100% of cases. It's like, I'm not sure if I'm totally convinced of that, but as things stand now, I would just ban it outright.
I mean,
I think as things stand now, like I kept saying, we were not ready for it. We don't know how to use it responsibly yet as a species.
When if we make the comparison to prostitution in the context of actually renting the womb, which is, again, it's commercially legal in many places in this country, it's not in Canada. People would say, well, it's wrong to sell your body for that reason or in that way. Whether it's it's wrong to sell your body period. One is for sexual gratification. The other is for the caring of a child, but you're still selling your body. Okay, we remove the sale component. It's non-commercial. It's just done out of the so-called goodness of your heart.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is there still are moral and immoral purposes for your body. That is to say, just the regular garden variety slut is different from the prostitute insofar as she is not compensated for her services. However, we still say that there is an immoral behavior in what she's doing because the use of her body, the offering of her body in that way for the use of others and their enjoyment is still not moral in the sense it is not pursuant to what her body is designed to do, to become a mom, to facilitate family, to build family, all of that. Now, likewise, I'm not saying it, like, is it exactly the same? Am I comparing the surrogate mom to the garden variety slut? I got to be careful here. I don't believe that their motives are the same, but when we're talking about there are moral and immoral principles regarding the design and purpose for your body, I think it is fair to question, is your body designed to carry someone else's child? That it's scientifically possible to do, but is that the design? And I know when I say that, people love to dismiss that sort of thing and say, well, that's according to some Christian or, God believing perspective. I mean, evolutionarily, like even if you're a person who wants to remove God from that calculation, evolutionarily, that is not how our bodies are operating. That is an artificial creation. So even though I think they're doing it for what they think are good reasons, I don't know that I think it's a moral use of one's body.
Right. And actually reasons, the reasoning does matter significantly, because I just realized there's a sort of analogous situation in a way where surrogacy is in fact a very moral move, and that is in embryo rescue, because with IVF, of course, certain embryos are created and sometimes frozen indefinitely, right? And essentially abandoned. And I think it's
when they run out of space.
Right. And I think it is totally moral to rescue those embryos and to basically adopt, right? It is another form of adoption where you take the embryo, allow it to gestate, and then that's your child. So
we clean up that form of degeneracy with another form of degeneracy, and then we stop.
Right. Yeah.
We end it after that.
Right. So that's the thing. It's like, I think rescuing those individuals is right, but at the same time, creating the situation in which they need rescue needs to end.
Right. You could say that conceiving a meth child is immoral, right, but once that meth child is conceived, it is still a life that is owed certain rights, certain all the things we're talking about that a human life is owed.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Any other surrogacy thoughts? Going once, going twice?
That's about it for now.
Okay. We've talked a lot about that tonight, so I appreciate all the thoughts from listeners on that one. This is a great question. I'm glad to receive, although I have to question the emailer's name. Willie Diddy Gisner.
That's disgusting.
Diddy Gisner? I don't know if he did or not. You'll have to tell me. But he says, hey, been watching since the Skag days. Please don't get offended by my question. I believe in God, but I'm not a Christian. What is the tangible, testable evidence Christ was the Son of God and performed miracles? The core of the story of Christ has been told before. Christ was even a concept. I get the faith argument, but it doesn't fulfill what is reality. How do you square that hole? And I imagine you might have some thoughts on this, Turless, and maybe Batman, you do too. But first of all, thanks for listening for so long. I really appreciate that. Back since the Trigglypuff times. And I appreciate that you're trying to be polite, but don't qualify your question with worry that I'll get offended. On my journey in Christian faith, I have learned that asking questions is the key. I used to think that faith meant you think you know everything. No, I've asked more questions since I've adopted the title Christian than I ever did previously, and that's part of it. Asking questions is how you get there, and sincere belief requires constantly asking questions. So you're right to do that. Now, as far as Jesus Christ performing miracles, same. As far as my own skepticism, hesitation, questions, that's one of the hardest pieces of Christianity to accept, because it requires us to accept the supernatural. It requires us to accept that someone defied the laws of nature as we understand them. And of course, if anybody can do that, it would be God himself, hence the story. But we don't see that very often. In fact, we never do, really. So it's very hard for us to accept these things happening. He fed a crowd of 5,000 people by multiplying the bread and the fish, and he walked on water, and he turned the water into wine, and he healed the sick and the disabled. And of course, his resurrection itself was miraculous. These are all gigantic claims that we don't commonly see. And of course, I'm not going to be able to provide you with forensic evidence. I'm not going to be able to show you a photo of these things or a video of these things. All we have really is testimony from witnesses, the apostles themselves, and the people who were in the crowds who saw these things. And we may consider that unreliable. You say, well, that's like 2,000-year-old he said, she said, whatever. How am I supposed to believe that? A few things to consider. Number one, many of the apostles were executed for preaching the gospel. Okay, they were killed for saying these things. If they were false, they could have just said, you know what, you got me. I lied the whole time. Please don't kill me. And they wouldn't have been killed. But they died for this message. They died for what they had seen in many of these cases. Who dies for a lie? It's a strange thing to die for, to gain nothing. I don't know many people lining up to die for lies, but I guess it could have happened. Number two, even Jesus's critics at the time didn't necessarily dispute the miracles. They attributed his abilities to sorcery or to demons. And even the Jewish authorities at the times, they didn't necessarily say Jesus faked things. They tried to cover miracles up. So I was reading earlier
Sometimes
today.
They just complained about the timing and said, why are you healing people on the Sabbath?
Right. So like the resurrection of Lazarus, I was reading about today pursuant to this question. And instead of saying that Jesus faked it, the Jewish authorities conspired to kill Lazarus. But why? Who develops a murder plot? And if it's not true and he made it up, it was all fake. Why do you have to kill the guy to cover up what is otherwise claimed to be a resurrection? If the story's false, you just say it's false. If it's obviously fake, you just say it's obviously fake. But very few, virtually nobody, as far as I understand, from the time were saying that guy's a faker. And if there are examples of that, I'm happy to look at it. I don't know good examples of such a thing. And lastly, this is my final point, and I'll kick it to you guys. Thanks for bearing with me here, but it's just a practical observation thing. So for whatever doubts I have about the story of Jesus Christ, for the reasons that you're describing, Willie, I wasn't there, you weren't there. I can't determine whether I find the people that witness these things and describe these things, I can't determine whether they're credible or not because they're long gone. But in my personal experience, observation, followers of Jesus Christ just live better, happier, healthier, more purpose-driven lives than those who don't follow. Just my personal opinion from watching people. So if only by results, and I don't think it's really my personal opinion, I think they do objectively, but as a people watcher, that's what I see. Just based on those results, I choose to follow Jesus Christ for that reason. I choose to believe his story, miracles included. And you might say, well, that's just, that's utilitarian. And that argument might be like, hey man, it works. I'm just telling you, it works. And it does. But I will say to that point, how many things do you know that are outright false that are actually useful on mass scale? Like not just short-term useful, like, well, we kind of bent the rules and that was a little white lie, but it worked in this situation and got us where we need to be in this specific circumstance. I mean, if everybody, like the entire world's Christian population bought into a lie and lived according to a lie, would that really build prosperity? Would that really build success? And yet virtually all of earthly, at least the Western world's success, has been built on a predominantly Christian view, work ethic, philosophy. Who the hell am I to say that they were all wrong? I mean, I know that I'm not supposed to be just bullied into a perspective, but when I look at it, it's like, am I really the smartest guy around and everybody else who built all of this incredible stuff was a moron and they were tricked by history's greatest con artist? I think it's more likely that they're all onto something. So that's why I believe, despite the difficulties in believing. And if you guys have thoughts on it, I welcome them.
Well, there's a ton. I'll let Batman go first if you got anything.
Well, I mean, as you probably know, them, I'm still somebody who's sort of just dipping his toe into the pool that is all of this. So there's obviously plenty of questions that I have as well. I personally find that the supernatural elements of the story are some of the parts that don't bother me the most. And that's largely because in, this topsy-turvy world, crazy shit happens all the time. And, things that we can't explain happen every day. And, it's maybe not quite as extreme as some of the things that Jesus is said to have done. But I mean, there's so much stuff we can't explain that crazy things happening or crazy deeds being performed is not really something that gets my goat, so to speak. It's really more of a philosophical argument for me, so I'm not really sure that I'm the person to provide any concrete answers on this question. Sorry.
Well, no,
I appreciate.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say I appreciate what you say though about miracles. As the bard said in Hamlet, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. There's a certain humility in admitting that you do not have the full breadth of knowledge available in the universe, and
none of us do.
Right. It's pretty arrogant to say, well, I just couldn't be. I just couldn't be. It's like, well, how do you know that? Do you and all the entire book of Job in the Bible has I think you've probably heard some of this, Matt. At least that in the book of Job, God takes Job through the motions on this. He says, hey, can you measure the universe from one corner to the other? Do you know what sorts of things creep at the bottom of the ocean? No, you don't, because you're not God. That would be me. So I highly recommend reading Job to gain some perspective. And I also, I'm the book guy, so
you just
I
told
would
people
recommend
to get a Job.
Get out there and get a Job. But read a book is what like I was saying in the voicemail. So read like Frank Turek's I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. Read some apologetics like that, and you'll see where we're coming from with the historical argument. It has been said, and I totally agree with the assessment that there is as much historical evidence for the resurrection of Christ as anything else that has ever happened in history, particularly in antiquity. So it's like, if you are sure there was a Caesar who once crossed the Rubicon, then you can be sure that Christ was crucified and came back. And if you want, go ahead.
Sorry, I had a question for you that you might know, because I know you're pretty well read on a lot of things, and I believe the Bible to be one of them. But my point that there aren't a lot of contemporaries there's no local journalist who wrote in his scrolls at the time, no, that was hoax resurrection of the week, dude. Didn't happen. Total scam. Just to show smoke and mirrors that everybody bought into. Are there examples of contemporaries who accuse him of being a fake? I'm not aware of many, or really any. I wouldn't be the person. No. I wouldn't be the person definitively to say they don't exist. But it's just, if it was all a scam, why didn't anybody at the time say, "Dude's a total scammer. That's not real"?
Yeah, it was mentioned in the Gospels that that the Pharisees tried a scheme where they paid the guards to say that his body was merely stolen.
So yeah, I mean that the implication there being it was a lie. But if it was the truth, why would you have to pay people to say the truth?
Well, exactly. Why you shouldn't have to bribe them to simply report accurately. And it's not a story that really even took hold, obviously, because there were a lot of witnesses to the risen Christ, and the stolen body narrative just didn't gain any purchase because of that. And like you were kind of intimating before, the way that the apostles lived their lives from that point forward did not indicate people who were trying to run a scam.
Like, let's say that the Osundairo brothers with Jussie Smollett, let's say that, like, in a crazy accident, Jussie Smollett, like, just took one to the dome and was shot dead because it all went wrong. You think, like, they would, okay, all right, like, this was bullshit, whatever's going on, this was bullshit, and we're out. That's what they would say if it all went horrifically wrong and suddenly their lives were at stake. You think the Osundairo brothers, pursuant to a hoax, would have carried the myth of Jussie Smollett to their execution if it came down to that? Nobody would do that. So like, it doesn't make any sense.
And we have examples of cults where things are made up and they have reliable, consistent patterns to them. There are some contemporary ones that I could pick on, but I'll go back and I'll just talk about Islam for a second. And the thing about Muhammad, right? He's got an interesting story. He started out as a religious leader of sorts, but he couldn't read. He was totally illiterate. And so he didn't really know that much about how Christianity worked. He just kind of heard some stuff through oral tradition. And so he was kind of grabbing things from Christianity, from Judaism, from Zoroastrianism, and he was kind of cobbling together his own thing. And he kept changing it over time. So
yeah, that's right.
Early Islam was a little bit more live and let live. But over time, he discovered that the people that he amassed...
That he liked children.
Well, yeah, but the people that he amassed as followers were all like bandits and savages, and they were good at killing
people.
Yeah,
sorry.
They were good at killing people. And after he discovered that he was a viable warlord, suddenly the Quran took a turn for the more violent. And so he kept adding stuff that basically accommodated whatever he happened to be doing at the time. So if he was out there sacking and pillaging and killing people,
touching young people,
and getting a wife at the tender age of 6 years old with Aisha, then he would write that into the Quran that God told me this is okay, by the way. And so there's a pattern for people who just make stuff up, and Muhammad followed that pattern very predictably. The apostles did not. The apostles, if anything, kept layering on higher and higher standards for themselves, and going out of their way to make sure that they were above reproach, and only telling the truth, and that there was an integrity in the movement, right? So when there was Simon, I think his name was, a sorcerer who thought that the miracles that they were doing, hey, that's pretty cool. I want that magic. I want that power, whatever it is. And he tried to pay them for it. And he was sternly rebuked for that. They're like, hey, we ain't running a business here. If that's just one of the many examples. If they had been frauds, I mean, what would have been the harm of accepting a little dinero for what they were doing?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's time and time again. And I'm barely scratching the surface for the historical evidence. There's a lot of philosophical evidence. I mean, for goodness sake, I've been my whole life I've been trying to study up on the arguments of Aquinas and Augustine and all of these people. Descartes, right? Rene Descartes. He was making an argument for God, that he's got the famous argument for being, right? Because he had this radical thought experiment of doubt, right? I'm going to doubt everything and figure out epistemology. What can I know? What can I know for sure? And he starts out with, well, I know that I exist because I have thought. I have self-awareness. And it seems to me that it seems to me inescapable that to have thought, you must have a thinker. And so he starts from there and he tries to craft a whole argument for God's existence, starting from the very lowest level of just arguing for your own existence. All of that to say, you are touching on an iceberg here with a very, very deep base And if you want to hear more, ask us in the Discord server, and we will do what we can to provide you with more.
One Christian converted, I trust. We won that one. No, Billy, I really appreciate the email. It's a big topic, and I'm glad you asked it.
Yeah, this may not be evidence of miracles or anything like that, but I saw a video sometime back by the Critical Drinker. He's a YouTuber that reviews movies, and he has a series called Production Hell, where basically he'll delve into the history of a film and sort of explore why creating this film was such a difficult task or a total disaster. He's got a whole bunch of these, but one that strikes me is the filming of The Exorcist. It's worth watching it's worth watching the video. It's rather short. I think it's only like 9 minutes long or something like that. But he basically goes into the unfathomably cosmically bad luck that struck the filming of that movie, to the extent where, I mean, like, if you're talking about like a number of tragedies to all happen to one team, it's I mean, the odds are astronomical. Like it's statistically impossible
we're done.
Yeah, it's statistically impossible to have this much bad luck during one production. And in order to, so much bad stuff was happening during the production of this film that the cast members and the producers and all that stuff started to genuinely believe that the project was cursed. So they actually brought in a priest, and that priest was basically there to try and ward off whatever they thought was basically cursing them. And the weird part is, it seemed to work. because when that priest came in and started doing whatever it is he did, those things stopped happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this is definitive proof in the existence of demons or whatever, but it's kind of convincing, isn't it?
I'll have to watch that video. I know you've mentioned it before and I haven't seen that one, so I'll have to check it out because it sounds really
similar
interesting.
Happened with a more recent film. The right-wing pundit Steve Deace made one.
Oh yeah.
Called Nefarious. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It was an interesting watch. Really kind of a riveting finale, actually. So I would recommend it. But he said something similar, that the production was plagued with an unusual number of problems.
All right, I'm going to try to speed run a little bit here because I do have a few and I want to get through them. And we'll have to close out with Super Chat as well. Minnesota Root Beer Enjoyer, is the UN really needed in 2026? When was the UN ever really needed? No, maybe it's nice to have a little bit of a formal structure for countries to interact with each other and talk with each other.
Isn't that what NATO's for?
Well, I mean, but that doesn't involve everybody, though. I guess it's
doesn't it involve the people who matter?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, there's an argument that many of those members don't actually matter, and it's over inclusive. But but as a practical matter, whether the UN is a useful facilitator of things like communication and delivering aid throughout the globe and all that, they don't have any power to legislate or enforce anything. They are infrastructure to perform tasks. But they only do those things, and they only have power if countries agree to that power, like to enforce or intervene, not just agree to the power, but agree to enforce on its behalf. And countries can already do that without the UN. Like any country can invade any country at any point they want. Whether they win, quote unquote, or not is up to their abilities. But it's not like the UN is some guy guarding the door like he's a bouncer at the club, like, sorry, nope, you can't do that. If they had any power, they wouldn't they have stopped Putin, or wouldn't they have stopped all these other things going on?
It's actually even worse than that, because those are the very people who are in the hen house, they're
I'm sure it's just as
the
corrupt
Security
as
Council and stuff.
Yeah, it's just a big, DC times DC even worse. By the way, if you're curious, yeah, we are the largest funder of the UN. We supply about a quarter of the budget, something like 11 to 18 billion dollars annually. So the UN is kind of just like it's functionally an arm of us, but they hate us.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like, so I don't know, disband it, sell the property, kick them out. It's beyond useless. It's actually really harmful. UN peacekeepers are terrible. They're guilty of more misdeeds than they are actually helping anybody in any situation. So defund, disband.
Anything else, Batman?
Or just leave. I mean, we don't have to go out of our way to destroy the organization. Just leaving will do it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. And kick them out of New York, right? They don't, they don't deserve the HQ here.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Minnesota Root Beer Enjoyer. Chief Justice says, everyone seems to talk about looks and wealth. How important do you think having a good voice is in dating? If you were single again and you had to choose between a perfect-looking woman with the voice of Haley Stevens or a woman who's only moderately attractive to you, but a beautifully feminine voice, which would you choose, all else being equal? So if people didn't see last week when he's referring to Haley Stevens, she's the Michigan House representative who's now running for Senate, and her voice sounds like this.
I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way.
Now, I'm trying to imagine like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model back when they actually had hot chicks and it wasn't like trannies and stuff. Or just a really attractive model woman with that voice is a hilarious concept. Now, of course, I would like a nice voice in general, but with women, I don't think it's highly relevant. Eventually, all women will have to be told to...
Shut up, bitch!
What I would prioritize over everything is a sincere commitment, of course, to a wifely and motherly role. If you don't have that, nothing else matters. Doesn't matter how hot she is, doesn't matter how great her voice is, whatever. If she's not committed to a wifely and motherly role, all else is secondary. Now, but if you're asking me, okay, she is committed to the wifely role, but you got to pick either great voice or hot. I mean, I guess I would pick great voice, because if she's physically unattractive, for the most part, that can be improved. There's virtually nobody who, like, if you're Trigglypuff, you're unattractive because you're a giant whale. But if even Trigglypuff got fit and took care of herself, I guarantee you there's a moderately attractive person in there. Men or women, no matter who you are, if you take decent physical care of yourself, diet and exercise, keep yourself healthy, people who are genuinely hideous when in a good state of physical health, almost nobody. So I would pick lower physical attractiveness with better voice, because I think the physical attractiveness can be improved. The voice is what it is generally, unless you give her a Stephen Hawking setup.
Yeah, it's just, I guess there are a few women out there who are, I guess, burdened with kind of a mannish voice. But like the clip that you just played, I mean, doesn't that have a kind of charm to it, actually? I don't know.
Haley Stevens, I don't know if she is a mom, but she has mom energy that could be properly focused. I will give you that.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I'm just thinking, what's the actress who plays like Helen Elastigirl in The Incredibles? I forget.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And, actually, my first thought was she sounds like Jessie from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah, or her, yeah. Or is that the same actress?
It could be, I don't know. But either way, actually, you played that as though it was like the epitome of like an ugly voice for a woman, but I didn't get that impression at all. I mean,
it's a cartoony voice, but it's actually not. It's not the most shrill I've ever heard. That's for sure.
No, it's like,
yeah.
It's
I mean, I can definitely think of
charms.
worse voices for a woman. And let me give you an example. There's an actress named Shoreh Agdashloo or whatever. It's spelling it and pronouncing it are totally impossible. She's an Iranian actress. You've definitely seen her. She sounds like she smokes 60 packs a day.
Yeah.
She sounds like a dude.
Okay.
The woman with the raspy voice. I know who you're talking about. But
yeah, she appeared in like Mass Effect.
Voice.
She was in The Expanse. She was in X-Men 3. She's all over the place. Good actress, but just a horrid voice for a woman.
This is going to sound ironically gay, but I may be incurably heterosexual because I'm thinking of even her voice, and I'm thinking, but doesn't that have a bit of charm to it? I don't know.
I don't think so. It sounds horrific. I realize this is kind of ironic coming from somebody who sounds like me, but
it's very like it's rough, but I still kind of like it. So I don't know. That's just I
like it, but not in an attractive way.
That's going to be my motto. I've never met a woman's voice that I didn't like. I guess. But yeah,
what? That can't. Okay, all right. In the interest of time, I'm going to leave that statement alone. But
we'll find an example. I just we've come up empty so far, but we'll find
crazy Valley Girl vocal fry.
We can't stand women's voices so much that our brains tune out the frequency, okay? It happens with my wife all the time. She tells me something, I'm like, that's female frequency. I never heard you say that. Because my brain is tuned not to listen.
Listening, but okay. I'm going to admit something here. There are times when I'm not paying attention, but doesn't that just mean it's that much more soothing? Like, I'm so comfortable right now. You can drone on all you want. It's not bothering me at all.
Well, yeah, it just means that your body is biologically programmed to know whatever I'm hearing right now, irrelevant, of no concern.
but that's different from hating it, right? That's my point.
Well, I guess from an evolutionary perspective, I think we have evolved to be unaffected by it. That doesn't mean it's not annoying. It means we've moved beyond its annoyance.
I will tell you, I might be the weird one here because like sometimes people will complain about certain characters in anime or whoever, and they'll complain about the whiny voices of certain female characters and that. And again, I'm like, it's not so bad.
Are you a homosexual?
I'm telling. How isn't it the opposite? Isn't it? I just enjoy women this much. That's what I'm saying.
Even if they have a man voice.
No, see, that's the one exception. If we can find a really masculine voice on a woman, which I think I have heard, where I'm legitimately wondering, are we sure that person is female? Okay, then I'll have a problem. But
all right, thank you to Chief Justice. Be humble. I'm going to come back to you in a second because I did see this email. Some dude has some thoughts on business matters, which I did want to touch on because I think they're important for people to understand. I noticed the Wednesday show, says just some dude, which is great, by the way. Take that, Fleck. It's the best show on the internet. Has had less super chats. That's likely. This is likely that those who would chat instead of submitting emails and voice calls. So that's why maybe. Not saying this is a problem. I hope it's not affecting you financially. And if it does, I hope you find an answer that doesn't change the Wednesday show too much. So just on the business philosophy here, this is why I wanted to discuss it. Wednesday show will always be an off show no matter what. Same reason TV networks consider Sunday night prime time. Most people are home and available on Sunday night, and it's one reason I've always done a Sunday night show. Wednesday, no matter how many times I've played around with it, it'll always be an off show, and that's okay. I still want to do the Wednesday show. But as far as revenue models, without getting into specifics, I don't rely on or prioritize super chats for my business. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate super chats. Love getting super chats. You're greatly appreciated if you are a super chatter or if you support my show in any way. And it's fun to have the interaction, of course. But from a business perspective, YouTube keeps 30% of those super chats, at least on YouTube. Super chat is limited in its time window. You have to do it while live. So it can be very unpredictable. So I much prefer actually that people, if they're going to support, hey, support through my website, join the MC Club. It's more stable. There are perks for you. And of course, more of that money is going straight to my business and the product. But the other thing that is important for me, and I want people to understand philosophically, I want free ways to interact with the show. I don't want basic communication paywalled. And as long as I've made this material, I've always had at least some way of interacting for free. I want that on principle because I want to be approachable, but I also think that particularly for people who want to challenge, hey, I don't agree with you on this point, or hey, I have a question about that point. For the most part, people don't want to pay for that, and I don't blame them. Like, if you want to challenge, you want to pay to challenge.
We've had at least one guy, though.
Sometimes it happens, but it's not common, and I do want to be available for challenge. I don't want people to pay and just praise. It's not fun. It's not intellectually honest. And also, I would respectfully dispute the premise a little bit here that those who call and email would otherwise be super chatting. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think a lot of those people who are live callers, of course, are calling live, but people leaving voicemails, emails, text messages, a lot of times they're not tuning in live. They're leaving them earlier in the day, later in the day. They catch the show later, and they're not able to participate live. And that's another reason I want to have those avenues available. Like, if you're not around when the show is live, you can still participate in the discussion on the show. But I brought this up to talk a little in-house business stuff just so people understand where I'm coming from. I thank you for your thoughts and your encouragement and your support for the show. If you would like to support the show financially, keep the duct tape rolling, you can join the MC Club. That is the #1 way to do it. Or you can buy some sport drink. Don't be a stupid bitch. Buy sport drink, promo code Christiansen. Okay. I'm just going to move on from that one because that's kind of in-house business stuff. And not that you guys don't have thoughts about it, but I'm the boss here, so you guys shut the hell up. All right. Be humble. Just had a thought on immigration, which I actually don't remember what I said or what was said on the show, but he says, I completely disagree with your analysis on the nature of pro-immigration propaganda. The actually immigration is a net benefit talking point is just a supplemental argument. The deep-seated propaganda that is almost impossible to break is that allowing mass immigration is the morally right thing to do. The idea that as Americans, we're guilty of having it better than the rest of the world and to withhold our wealth and prosperity from literally anyone who wants it is evil and racist. The subversion is that white people have it better across the globe exclusively because of the evil deeds they did, and they got ahead, and therefore we owe it to those worse off to give away our prosperity. Now, I don't recall exactly what I said or maybe what someone else said contrary to these points. I actually agree with the points that you're raising here, and I know you sent this question in last week, Be Humble, so that might be a reason the point escapes me. But last week we were discussing the propaganda point that exclusion is inherently wrong, and it isn't. And I think that's a piece of the propaganda as well. It's very often good. It's what defines people. It's what defines countries, which I think is kind of the point of what you're saying. So I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying here. I just wanted to offer Be Humble a chance to have his point read. But if you guys have thoughts on the nature of pro-immigration propaganda, you're welcome to express them.
No, I think he put it pretty succinctly there. I mean, that is definitely something that I have used personally in my arguments with pro-immigration people. Is like, well, okay, if we only got ahead via our evil deeds, right? Can you articulate why only the evil is what got us ahead and not all of the incredible good that we've done? And then just list some examples, right? Technological achievements and philosophical achievements. And they talk about how we're all evil all the time and slavery was bad and all that shit, but we're the ones who frickin' abolished it, right? They didn't over the rest of the world until they followed our example.
Still
even if they did it all. If they did it all. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, basically operating under the assumption that Western society, white society is pure evil and only got ahead because of the savage things that we've done. Okay, so why is it that other much more savage places have not gotten ahead if they're willing to commit, say, greater evils or things as evil as we had done in our ignorant past?
Yeah.
Or for that matter, why don't they hold people responsible who have indeed sort of trampled on people's rights to get ahead? I mean, Mao,
because then they would all be up on crosses.
Yeah, right. Hassan Piker recently made an appearance. He was making a speech and he was literally dressed as Mao.
I saw that. I didn't listen to the speech, but I saw the costume. Yeah, it was at like some Democrat event too. It wasn't just on his stream or something. It was a formal.
It was like
Democrat
young
event.
Democrats or something. And he's just like on this would literally be the equivalent on the right of somebody actually just slapping a swastika on his arm and painting the Hitler mustache on his face.
They think they do though. They think Elon did the Nazi salute at the Trump victory party.
Well, how come it's always like this secret dog whistle for us, but for them it's like, no, I'm just literally dressed as Mao.
You guys can't hear that.
I don't hear anything. What's going on?
I didn't hear that.
No, my daughter's banging on my door.
Oh, well, if you need to step out for a second, just say the word. But
she's like a cat. You've been by yourself for long enough, buddy.
She likes to see me.
But Hassan Piker actually like literally just said, I've never attacked Mao. I never would attack Mao. He's one of the greatest people in the universe. All that stuff. And
tell that to the sparrows.
So my point is, China, in order to become an industrialized nation, insofar as that was a good idea or advantageous to China as a nation, they killed tens and hundreds of millions of people to do it, right? So how come they aren't held responsible by the left that supposedly cares about exploitative practices, right? So these are not serious people. They're totally hypocrites. This immigration stuff is all insane. I did want to say real quick.
Well, you're not being exploited if you're dead.
Oh, well,
not anymore, but you probably were to get to that point, I guess.
Yeah. I wanted to say real quick also, how is it they're so comfortable with this ancestral guilt argument? Anyway, I've never been able to figure that one out. It's shocking to me how much they're like, well, my ancestors were oppressed your ancestors weren't, so you owe me something. Like, okay, so you're not saying that I did anything, actually. I have done nothing wrong, but I still owe you somehow.
End result is their power. That's how they're comfortable with it. If the end result is their power, it's good to go.
Yeah. I actually always like it when people try to make that argument to me, because I mean, I'm half Irish and half basically Chinese. So I mean, if my family were in America at that point, you know, I mean, we'd be slaving over the railway just as much as any black person would be. So
what would the term be?
Go ahead, try it.
Would you be a potato chink? Would you be a ginger gook? What would you be?
I don't know. I'll have to give that some thought.
All right.
You can tell I've got a little Irish in me. That's where I get the red in the beard.
You know, someone emailed me, quick aside, because I somehow someone emailed me about racist high school mascots or something. Like, I had a quasi-racist high school mascot. It was Redskins. You know, it's a racist term now. It's not Redskins anymore at the high school I went to. This guy emailed me, and it looks legit. His high school mascot was the Chinks. I couldn't believe it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, the Chinks. And it was like the 80s or the 70s. Okay, it's not even that long ago. Their high school team called the Chinks.
Did their mascot have like the slanty eyes and the giant buck teeth?
I don't know. I just saw a picture from the yearbook.
That would have been hilarious.
It looked real though. Anyway,
that's
they don't know
newspaper
from the
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Turless, but if you have a thought, finish it up and we'll move to the next one.
Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Whatever it was.
Sorry.
That's all right.
If it comes back to you, you can let me know. Yeah. All right. I just have a couple more things.
Building the railroad that train was on.
You know what? That's what I was going to say is the the largest mass lynching ever was of Italians, I think.
Oh. Well, we learned from Mamdani they don't count. Italy.
I guess not.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Well, one last question, then a note on a couple questions here. But yes, Lou is back once again. Lou Sassel.
Got him! Got him!
He wants me to tap the other sign, the Subaru sign.
Don't make me tap the sign.
So I'm going to indulge. You don't get to weasel out of it, Matt. Okay, so if you recall, he said that I was being dishonest in saying Subaru is not a uniquely gay or lesbian company, that it's a tired insult for people who just don't like Subaru and you need to think of new material. And he doesn't like that I have dismissed. And again, I don't know if Lou is serious or trolling, but I'm going to play it out. So my point was, I don't understand how you can say Subaru is a uniquely gay, lesbian, whatever company when your point is there was some obscure market analysis and some coded ads in the 90s, and yet you have all sorts of other car manufacturers, Ford giving millions to the Pride Parade, Nissan sponsoring Pride Parades. You have what was it? There was another. Toyota is, of course, has the largest market share of gay drivers currently and has run these full-on rainbow ads recently. And so it's not to say that what happened with Subaru in the past is good, but I don't understand how you could say Subaru is a uniquely gay company and then just excuse all the, not the coded homosexuality, but the overt homosexuality coming from the rest of the car industry. So it's not market share that singles out Subaru. It's not marketing strategy that singles out Subaru. My point last week was there is no objective measure by which you can say that this is some kind of uniquely homosexual company. But now, so he's back. Lou is back. And he says, yes, other car manufacturers have marketed to the BLT community, bacon, lettuce, tomato, in recent years because every major corporation is captured by leftist ideology. Subaru, however, was uniquely ahead of the curve. Some would call them pioneers in the frontier of homo automobiles. Yes, they're the Henry Ford of the Model G for gay or whatever. I don't know, whatever the joke would be. They specifically set out to be the lesbian car and were so successful in their quest that they remain known as the lesbian car 30 years later. That's not the same thing as falling in line with every other captured industry decades later. You're moving the goalposts. I have not moved the goalposts at all. In fact, I think this is moving the goalposts. I think now we're saying, okay, they're only gay because they originated the gay marketing, which is a different question from where we were before. They are currently a gay company, was the original proposition. Now, because they were allegedly the first in some sort of obscure market analysis 30 years ago, they're a uniquely gay company today. That is a goalpost shifted. That's not where we started. There is no metric by which Subaru is a uniquely gay company. Again, not marketing, not in consumer behavior, and no, not in origin. So now we're going to address this new origin argument. So the claim that they were the first to do this, or that they were unique at the time in the 90s of doing this, is also not correct. VW was doing the same thing in the 90s. Ellen had her famous coming out episode in 1997. Famously, advertisers bailed. They didn't want the controversy of supporting Ellen's overt homosexuality. VW stayed in the game, proudly advertised on Ellen's show, and did it with a similarly coded gay commercial of two guys driving around in a way many people interpreted to be a gay couple. Indeed, it remains posted on the Marketing the Rainbow channel. Nobody today says VW is a gay company because of what happened 30 years ago. Subaru wasn't even the first to do this sort of gay marketing, implied or overt. IKEA was doing it before them. Again, here's an example of Subaru's implied gay ads. It loves camping, dogs, and long-term commitment. Too bad it's only a car. Lesbians want camping, dogs, and long-term commitment. Okay. It was coded stuff. It might be a stupid ad campaign, but it pales in comparison to how overtly gay the stuff is now. But we're not going to hold the people who do overtly gay stuff now to account because they weren't the first or something like that. IKEA had a gay couple in their ads in 1994. They were the real pioneers of having gay content in advertising. They did it before Subaru. Nobody today says that's some real homo furniture you got there from IKEA. Nobody thinks IKEA is a uniquely gay company because they were the pioneers of the homo advertising industry, whether it's furniture or cars or not. Again, I'm not saying IKEA is cool for doing this ad. I'm not saying Subaru's ad is cool. In fact, I think this stuff is stupid. They shouldn't have done it. But I don't see a measure by which you can say Subaru is gay for what happened in the 90s, but not VW, not IKEA, not Ford, who supported LGBT everything with millions of dollars, not Nissan, who sponsored the San Francisco Pride Parade, not Toyota, who advertises with colorful rainbows, at least not anymore because they quit, but as of a couple of years ago. This is not to say that Subaru has never made a mistake or that every ad they've ever run is cool or the best company ever. It's not to say you can't hate Subaru. But again, the idea that they were originators here, number one, that doesn't excuse people currently, and it doesn't single them out currently. And number two, they're not even originators. VW did it at the time. IKEA did it at the time. And we don't consider them gay companies. Unless, Lou, you're going to tell me that IKEA is homosexual furniture by design, which was the original proposition on Subaru. They're not just gay by design, which to Batman's point, actually, by design, they are fine pieces of Japanese killing craftsmanship. They drop bombs on our guys in the Pacific. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I think you just fell for a very elaborate troll, to be honest.
Probably did. That's the last time I will.
Don't make me tap the sign.
Sometimes the audience just wants to get a rise out of you.
Yeah, I know. Lou's sitting around like, I can't believe this bitch is still doing this.
His name is Loose Asshole. I mean, come on, man.
No, it's Lou. Lou's a very serious man.
I already gave my my Alabama rant. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Wasn't that about incest and stuff? I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That they have a bad rap that is totally undeserved, but it's a sticky reputation and it just won't go away. Because of a stupid
fuck
movie.
your sister one time and it's all anybody remembers.
It was just because of a stupid
I'm kidding,
movie.
Man. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to say,
I'm doing
this
exactly what Lou did to Matt to you.
Yeah. Well, you see how well it works.
All right, Lou.
This also happened to.
But thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. This also happened to Nixon with Watergate. Every scandal is Watergate now. It's always Gate. Because of the way, in that case, though, it was really intentional, right? Because they wanted to trash Nixon's legacy for all time, and they succeeded. And so now every scandal is compared to Watergate. We really need to move past that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we've had much, much, much bigger scandals in more recent years than Nixon.
Yeah, but
that was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
We desperately need some new narratives, but just like culture, just like music and movies, we are thin on new kind of penetrative cultural moments that people like. Coronavirus is one of the few, right? It's like the first one since 9/11. And then those are both terrible, right? They're so terrible. So we could do it with a few culture-wide moments that are positive for that matter. Anyway,
thank
not
you,
to, not to
Lou.
broaden the topic out so much.
And we do have two more from Jason and Madtrad. I'm not going to answer these directly because they actually refer to other contributors on the show. So Jace has a question for Robert about Magic the Gathering. Madtrad just wants to dispute what Skulldugger had said about the Apostles' Creed being Catholic nonsense, because much of Protestantism also accepts the Apostles' Creed, including Lutheranism, Methodism, Anglicanism, and Reformed. And he says rejecting it isn't Protestant nonsense, it's modernist nonsense. So I'm not going to, I don't have the qualifications to take a side on that. I'm just noting that there was dispute there. But the reason I bring this up is for people who want to ask a question to a specific person who's on the show. Right now, I can't realistically do that because I just don't know at what point or what time or when certain personalities are going to be on. I'll try to remember for you, Jace, next time Robert's on, but I can't guarantee it. And same with a Skulldugger challenge. I'm sure he has a response to that. I will say, if you want to address anybody who's on the show directly, again, join the MC Club. You could just hop into the Discord server. Pretty much everybody's active there, and you can just tag them and say, hey, you can be the Lou Sassel for Robert or Skulldugger, and you can challenge them directly, and for the most part, they'll respond to you. So another benefit of joining the club, you can hop in that club Discord server, and the rest of the personalities on the show are accessible to you. But I will try to remember for you guys to bring this up when those personalities are on the show. I just don't have a great way of organizing that for the moment. But we got to get into Super Chat because I was hoping to be done closer to 2 hours and we're already closer to 3. So, before I do move on, if you would like to send an email or voicemail or text message to the show, of course, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact is the way you do that. And get some sport drink while you're over there. Promo code Christiansen. Okay, let's get into the Super Chat and we'll call it a night. Oh man, I had another no transcript voicemail come in and I had some text messages. We'll see how much time I have here for our messengers. I don't know if I'll be able to get to those tonight, guys, but I appreciate you lighting up the voicemail and text message line. Okay. Where did I leave off? We've had several come in here. Okay, Zeldgear. I am glad to catch this live. Here are a few dollars. Well, thank you for your support for the show.
I am not going to be niggardly.
Appreciate you keeping the duct tape in operation. Very kind of you, and thank you, Zeldgear. I really appreciate it. Backtrack Grooves. Matt, get your bull riding training on, or training in. I've never, I have friends who do rodeo. Some high school friends, really a high school friend. I shouldn't overstate it. So I've seen rodeo and I've known a guy who does it, but I've never tried to ride like any kind of rodeo animal. Not a bull, not a bucking bronc, none of that. You guys ever do rodeo stuff? You ever ride
it's on my bucket list, but
you ever do the one at the bar, the bull at the bar, the mechanical bull?
I've done that.
You have done that? Is it hard?
It can be pretty tough.
I assume it has settings, right? Like harder, easier, or harder.
I think I did do a mechanical bull at some point, and it's definitely hard.
Yeah,
I've never done that.
It requires a ton of grip strength.
Yeah.
I respect the toughness of those rodeo guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely never done any live animals in that way. So yeah,
you've never done any live animals in that way. That's good to know.
Now we just had to see Rip from Yellowstone tried to do one of the mechanical bulls. I bet he'd rock it.
Backtrack Grooves adds, Jay Dyer is lazy.
How dare you?
I don't know why he's lazy.
By the way, just one last plug for those rodeo guys. Keep at it. That is some true Americana right there. Keep that stuff going.
Injured Guardian, Batman, bad news. Limitless Seas Book 3 is canceled. What does that mean?
That's a book of like a fantasy book series about a Navy captain who dies and is reborn in a fantasy world.
What's it called?
It's called Limitless Seas.
Oh yeah, I don't know that one.
I'm sort of peripherally familiar with it. I guess that sucks that they canceled the third book, but yeah.
Thank you, Injured Guardian. Colton Regal, apologies in advance. Don't apologize for supporting the show. I know you've answered this question before. Where do I go to find the episodes of the old show? I've got a wild nostalgic hair tonight. Why would you want to watch the old show when you have such a superior product right in front of you? For anybody who wants to find not only the old show, which again, I removed from my channel, not because I'm trying to hide it, but because I don't want to be accountable for damage caused by statements made by somebody who bailed on the show and is not taking accountability for those things. But I wanted it preserved so that people could still find it. It was producer Tim did all the work to put the archive of the old show on Rumble. So if you go to my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com, there's an archives page right on the front page there. Look at archives and resources. You will find the entire archive of the old show. Plus, while you're there, you get all sorts of other stuff. Like you get the entirety of my soundboard library and all the movie reviews and some other things that are kind of from a bygone era that you might find interesting as well. So that's where you do. You look at the archives page on my website. Thank you, Colton.
Is my movie spot on there? I'm curious.
Which movie spot?
You remember I did the voice for the movie bit you used to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the old show, the segments of the show, but as far as the movie reviews, the written product, it's not in there. And I do still have the original audio on my computer somewhere, but I don't have it in the soundboard
in a world
files because
it's not a huge deal.
I do have it. I just don't know if it's publicly available, but I do have the files. Taker 610, the only miracle I could never believe if it was claimed that Jesus turned the Minnesota Vikings into a Super Bowl champion.
He's absolutely right.
I mean, I'm becoming an atheist if that happens. If the Vikings win and they credit Jesus Christ for the victory, I'm out. This is all bullshit. Purpose of the ages. I lead a Bible study on Wednesday at my house. Years ago, I used to wrap up the study, turn on Beauty and the Beta, and listen to Matt struggle with topics that I just taught. I used to think this guy needs a teacher in his life. I'm glad you found those men. Well, first of all, thank you for your support for the show as well.
We love you. You're very special.
And
he's been around forever, all Purpose of the Ages.
And I'm glad to hear that your own ministry is going well. And thank you for being a leader in that way. And I know for many, it can be very... the patience that is required to wait for a person to come around can be, I don't know, annoying, difficult, whatever term, whatever descriptor applies. I really appreciate everybody, Purpose of the Ages included, who gave me that sort of patience. Because I remember there were some people like, come on, man, shit or get off the pot. Like, you're Matt almost Christiansen. And of course, that's never going to persuade anyone, just like coercion and pressure points and all this. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people insufferable in that way.
A lot of people, well, now that I'm experiencing it, like I said, to the extent I believe it's true, I believe the truth will reveal itself to you. But it's not on my timeline that happens. I hope it's tomorrow. I would love it. But it's not, to me, it is presumptuous to say like, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Batman had questions for me and I could be helpful, certainly I would offer that. But if I were to come to you and like tell you how you're going to believe and that it's time, I don't know, that's awfully those sorts of things have to be deferred to God himself. I think it's presumptuous for people to do that, and I wouldn't do that.
Keep in mind, Christianity always has been and always will be a faith for thinking men who want to actively explore what is true, and test the claims. Even from the very beginning, the apostles weren't arguing that you should buy into a philosophy. They were saying, no, this is about historical things that actually happened.
Thank you, Purpose of the Ages, and God bless you. Really appreciate it. Laughing Boy, just need to remember Apologetics Roadshow. Humans are worthless clumps of cells, and I am the best one of them. Isn't logically consistent with God as a measuring post. So that's David Wood, right? Yeah, that it is I have all the interesting contradictions in a lot of left-wing and or atheist non-believer philosophy. That is an interesting one that I don't know that I've heard before, that humans are just worthless clumps of cells, but I am the supreme clump of cells. I am the one that stands above the rest.
That's a heck of an ego for a clump of cells.
It's strange. Taker 610 also says, is there even an attack from Iran that could invoke the NATO treaty? They've attacked our overseas assets. Must they attack Americans? I don't know the specifics of that trigger because, of course, they've killed our guys. But I assume you're right that the reason that NATO doesn't jump in is because they've killed our guys over there or in that region. So NATO says, nope, that doesn't count. They got to kill you on your territory. Is that the rule? It seems like it probably would be, but I don't know.
Does a member nation have to specifically make that appeal and say, guys, NATO has indeed been activated by our reckoning, and you guys all need to help now?
I wonder, let's say that Iran did commit 9/11 too. Is it for sure that NATO and European powers jump in to help us out? I wouldn't. I mean, I'd call that toss up 50-50. I don't think they're jumping in.
I'll be honest.
I don't think they're in a place to help.
NATO was always really about Russia, so it almost feels like if it ain't Russia, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Zeldgear says, because the three of you make a great show.
We love you. You're very special.
Well, thank you for your
very much appreciated.
Thank you for the support for the show and keeping the duct tape rolling. Zeldgear, really appreciate you. Very humbled by your support and greatly appreciated. Thank you. Taker610, ESPN accidentally did reparations, but in reverse. They fired two black men, Ryan Clark and Cam Newton, so they could pay a white man, Pat McAfee, more. I saw that like somehow the firing leaked and Ryan Clark got the news of his layoff while on air. At least that was the characterization I read. I didn't see the video of it, but it sounds like a total botchery of professional courtesy over at ESPN. But hey, ESPN is mostly a collection of MSNBC personalities who sometimes talk about sports these days. So,
yeah.
I mean, on principle, nobody should be treated that way, but like, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
still gonna laugh a little bit.
They're honestly bitter about where they are. So,
Injured Guardian adds, we hate Nixon for closing the gold window in 1971. So Nixon was president when we went off the gold standard is what he's referencing, right?
Yes. Although I've heard that process was initiated before Nixon came along.
And like way before, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember so FDR like made it illegal to own gold privately?
Yeah.
That was a whole thing.
That was New Deal nonsense. Yes. Yeah.
I can't believe that was constitutional. That had to be challenged in court.
There were a lot of things that FDR did that were not constitutional, but were accepted because of the time.
Yeah, we should relitigate this. Actually, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me. I got a couple voicemails here. Oh man, you know what, guys? Actually, these are text messages. I can read these text messages quickly. Gideon Hawk says, if a married couple can't have a baby, maybe try changing your diet, get healthy, have sex more, etc. There are a lot of things you can try to improve your situation for sure. That said, some people straight up can't. And the question is, what are the moral implications of that? But I take your point. There is a moral obligation to try the natural way all the way through its possible avenues for sure. Thank you, Gideon Hawk. And Denise adds, not really an item you talked about, but back when Obama passed Obamacare, everyone needed an ID. My 1-year-old needed an ID to get Obamacare. So why can't they pass the SAVE Act? Yeah, well, it's, it was a different time, you know. I guess that's all they would say. I don't know. You do have to get, because I still buy on the exchange. So, you know, I buy my family's health insurance privately as someone who, I'm not self-employed. I'm technically an employee of a company that I own, but practically I'm self-employed. That company doesn't offer health insurance. So I got to buy on the exchange because that's the only way I can get it. And yeah, there actually are pretty stringent ID requirements to purchase health insurance through that website, which is a disaster technologically. We have one more
point about ramming stuff, just about ramming stuff through.
Yeah,
I should look into this, but it feels like Kamala Harris was a record setter for tie-breaking votes in the Senate.
I think that is true. That I've read that before.
Yeah. And we could be in that situation right now, but we're just not ramming things through the way that they were, which is upsetting.
You have too many defections too. Democrats stay in line. You have too many complicated Republicans. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, even when he's right sometimes. You know, there are, and then you got the bitter ones like Cassidy and the rest and Cornyn, who have become Trump enemies and are now paying the primary price for it. So
Right. Well, the trouble is we don't have a Nancy Pelosi to pin people against the wall when.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of blackmail or whatever she's always had against people, but like they always
she gets her people
around.
in line. Yeah. I got another voicemail here.
The fact is, she's unafraid of being a total bitch.
717. Okay, this is a different. No, this is the same number before. Okay, so this voicemail is also silent. 717. I'm going to speculate that maybe it's on your end, just because this is silent for me again.
Oops.
So double check your phone and just make sure it's leaving messages or that your mic on your phone is working properly and all that. I would play it. I have no sound coming off this voicemail, so I apologize for that. But I don't know what's going on. Anyway, you guys have anything else to say before we are out of here? Refresh our super chats here and make sure I didn't miss any.
Only that I just sat in on a 3-hour stream and we didn't really talk about Iran hardly at all. We had this NATO thing and that was it.
That's an accomplishment. And the super chat system worked, so things are really improving.
Yeah, things are going great.
All right.
I can't remember if you and I have talked about Iran at all.
Not really. But we ought to get on that at some point. I don't know. There's too much. There's
a lot. Yeah, it's a deep topic.
Yeah.
How do I not have that button in here? I need to fix that. I was going to shut you both up with "Ain't nobody got time for that," but I don't have the button.
You should have the one from the Princess Bride where Inigo's like, "Let me explain." No, wait, there is no time. Let me sum up.
That would be a good one. No, wait, I think maybe I tricked myself. I didn't have it under "Ain't Nobody Got Time." I think it's under "Nobody Got Time." It might be under N.
It's under.
I know I did this.
How many things do we have under N?
Lots of things. That's the problem. Nobody cares. Oh, here it is.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I knew it was in there somewhere. All right, we will call it there. Speaking of having no time, thank you for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our live chatters and super chatters for making the live show a success. If you're listening on demand later, thank you kindly as well for supporting the show. Thanks to our callers and emailers. Thanks to Batman and Turless for joining. Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance. Find everything show-related at mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattis.gay if you prefer brevity. I'm back on Sunday night. Hope to see you then.
Take care, folks.